We'll do that. We'll do that so we can see the comments.
Wait for the notification to hit on my phone.
And then make sure we have excellent connection. Do we have excellent connection? I wonder if anyone will come today because of it's New Year's Eve. No,
it's not New Year's Eve. It's the day before.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the day before
Tomorrow's
New Year's Eve.
Okay. Hello. What do we? New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
I'm waiting for a notification to hit on my phone.
We are live according to this thing anyway.
Hey, we're live.
We're live. How about
Look
that?
at that. Cool.
So let's check this out. So welcome everybody.
Hi.
We'll wait for people to show up.
I'm here.
Here's one of our impromptu live streams that hopefully people actually show up for. They usually do.
Yeah.
Let's say, hey there.
Or het there.
Or het there.
Hey, Metallica fan, het there.
Yeah, there we are. I'm only going on the one channel today.
Yep.
Oh, did we get a thumbs up already?
Well, it wasn't me.
Oh, maybe when you leave a comment, let's see if.
I doubt it. I don't think so. I don't think that does an auto like.
Oh, that's me. Oh,
Yeah.
It's got one thumbs up. It may have.
Oh yeah, wasn't me.
Or someone else did. Very cool.
Anybody
if
there?
anybody's here. If not, it'll
Anybody
be
there?
If not, it'll be an early trip.
Yeah, it'll be a really short live stream if nobody shows up for it.
Be 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes of us just being like talking about nothing, just waiting to see if anything happens.
We'll see if anybody shows up.
Yeah.
Somebody will. Oh, we got 4 views. That's always good.
4 concurrent viewers, 1 like.
There'll be a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, there's always that minute lag between them hitting the button on a chat and it actually showing up.
So we'll have to see. And if not,
whatever.
Hey, we did all this 45 minutes to set this whole thing up
if
for
you
nothing.
guys knew
what it takes
the
to set
rigmarole we have to go through to set one of these up.
Yeah.
You would not believe it. Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
it is a pain.
It is a pain in the butt.
It gets done.
It does get done.
But
Chris Flynn. Hi, Chris Flynn.
Hey, Chris, at least you're here.
Hey, we got one here.
All right. Good. We're going to adjust this.
Yeah,
there we go.
Come on, get your mic fixed. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, how you doing from Canada? Happy New Year to you, brother.
How cold is it in Canada right now?
Yeah, how cold is it out in Canada? That's a good question.
Yeah. What's it doing? It's raining here, 40 degrees and raining.
So let's see. You got 1 chat, 4 in there. People will show up. So, Chris, if this is your first time here, let us know.
Yeah, I don't recognize your name.
I don't recognize
you a newbie?
the name. Let me close.
You a newbie?
You could be.
Could be a newbie.
Let's see how we can get the comment on the screen. There you are.
Look at that.
Really cool. Yeah. Let us know if this is your first time here. We're just doing this as an unscheduled impromptu live stream that we're doing because Dave came up all the way from New York today to do some video stuff with me. And we always end up getting some lunch, and then we say, hey, let's go live, because you guys like when he's live on the channel with me, and he's not here a lot, not
much. Nearly as often as I used to be.
Right, because all the work is done, all the setup stuff. Well, hopefully you'll get more in 2024. You'll get here a little bit more.
Well, it would be nice. Yeah, I mean, if we start doing more live streams and more live mixes and stuff, then yeah,
Yep.
Dang, we got one from Vietnam. We got one from France. We got Wisconsin Mel. We got one from Canada. We are international, David. Look at us.
International.
Look at us.
I didn't know that.
We are international.
Let us know if how is the lighting and how is the sound. Again, we just slapped this together pretty quick. So let us know. We usually will, let's see, strangely warm. I'm a live stream, but.
You're a regular viewer. Thank you for being a regular viewer. We appreciate that.
Strangely warm. It's strangely warm in Canada. Cool.
Wow. Okay.
You're a live stream newbie, but watch the channel often. Well, welcome to the live stream.
Thank you.
We schedule these sometimes, and then sometimes we never know when we're going to do them. And we just kind of pop on here and
like
do
today.
them. And usually after about 5 minutes or so, a bunch of you show up and we talk about whatever we're going to talk about. So if you have any questions about studio stuff, gear, videos.
Yeah. We really don't have an agenda for today. So
Not really. Ooh, my chair just fell.
Hey, your chair fell.
Hey, that's happened before. I think the chair is.
Your chair breaking? Come on now.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're still fine.
I'm still okay, right?
Yeah, you're in the frame. You're in the frame, so you're fine. You didn't fall behind You didn't fall behind the table, so you're good.
Looks and sounds good, Chris. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I think the hydraulic is wearing out in this thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. You've had that chair for a long time.
Yeah, it sucks, though. It's an expensive chair.
Yeah, well,
Chris says it looks and sounds good. Awesome. Cool. Okay.
Wow.
Again, we never know.
Yeah, we never do know. Besides that, we don't look at it. We don't like looking at ourselves, and we're looking at ourselves right now.
It looks okay. It looks okay.
Yeah, I'm not turning around to look at the back because then my bald spot shows.
So we're wrapping up to 2023. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and
Thank God.
Hopefully, if you're somewhat new to the channel, you'll know that we did a ton of videos this year. 70. What did I say?
What'd you say? 77 videos on this channel?
77.
So you were way better than one a week.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
One a week, and there's already a long laundry list of stuff for next year. Some of it's already been recorded. It's already posted. There's already stuff in January already coming.
Yeah.
Next week is the reveal of the Neumann MT48 versus the PreSonus 4848.
Right.
Where we tell them which set of audio files was which.
Right.
That's a couple of days from now. It's on Tuesday, I think.
Okay, yeah, so it's next week, yeah.
Then after that, we have 2 more videos from the Studio Reconfigure rebuild.
Yeah, that I wasn't here for.
Yeah, 2 more videos of those are done already. The West Audio and the rack, they can't see the NG76 video. That video is scheduled to go live.
Yep.
And there's also another POV mixing, which goes live, where we give away the free multi-tracks.
Right.
That one goes live, I think, January 15th, or the second Tuesday of January.
Right.
And that's another cover tune by Brandon of a famous 80s song. People seem to like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the video that we just shot today.
You're going to play with that.
We're going to play with that. That was, we were doing, it's kind of 2 videos in one. It's a little bit behind the scenes of us.
Mix prep.
Yeah, doing a mix prep, doing a test. One of the live stream things we want to do for people that might be interested in the live stream. Hey, Let's Groove 22.
What's up, man?
One of the things that we wanted to try for 2024 was doing a live mix, like running the console, running the sound, and doing it.
Yeah.
Where we would do one every few months. We'd flip flop. One episode Dave will mix on the console, and I'll work all the video in the chat room off screen, and then you can watch him mix, and I can follow the chat and do all the camera switches.
Yeah, and you can pick on me in the chat.
Yeah, and then in the next time we would do it, I'll mix and Dave will do the video and the chat stuff. So today we, for the first time, we decided we were going to do it as a dry run. We're going to do it live. We were going to practice.
Yeah.
To see how it was going to work. And actually, I think it worked good. I mean, I haven't watched back the video yet, but I mean, it felt like it was working okay.
I mean, from my side of the table, it was fine because I was just sitting here pushing knobs and stuff. So you know, I mean, it did sound, you know, it did work out good from my end of it because, like I mean, my biggest concern was the time. You know, is how much time is this gonna take? Because I have not mixed on the board in like I did a live mix back when we were still relatively new.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it was almost 2. Yeah, it was over 2 years ago.
We're almost going on 3 years. June.
Yeah.
June of 24, 2.5 years. June of 24 is 3 years.
So with all the time I spend here and all the stuff that we do here, I never actually have sat down at the board and actually just, you know, put a song up and worked it and did a mix on it. So coming in cold like that, I was a little nervous about, you know, like I'm going to be fumbling around quite a bit, you know. So I felt, you know, it felt good to get on the board, you know. So, and like I said, it took me less than an hour to get to the point where it was like, if I don't stop here, we're going to be here all day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like once I got to that point that I was at, it's like, okay, next is going to be automation and fades and everything else.
All the finishing touches.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, if I'm going to start that, it's going to be another hour or so of me doing that. So it's like, I don't think anybody is going to want to sit through 2 hours or 2.5 hours of a live mix without a lot of commentary or anything else going on.
Right.
You know.
So yeah, it was about 40 minutes or so, which is pretty good time.
Yeah, not bad.
So it felt good. We got all the cameras worked. Everything technically worked the way we thought it was going to work. So that worked out good. So now in a couple of weeks,
except for the GoPro not turning on. You know.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
But in a few more weeks, we'll actually do one live. So that's one of the things we're going to do. So one of the live streams coming up soon. We're going to do that. We're going to do a live mix and we're going to try it and we're going to do it. So that'll be something new. Hopefully you guys, and we'll schedule it so people will know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a Saturday and it's probably going to be it's not going to be the 6th unless you can get the subwoofer working.
Probably not. It probably won't be.
Probably the 13th or something like that.
Yeah, we'll schedule it and we'll let people know when it's going to be so you guys can attend if you want to be there live and.
Because I know I had it on my calendar. I had it on my calendar for next week, but like I said,
it's probably not going to be next week.
It's not going to be next week, so I'm going to have to change my calendar again. No big deal.
Chris says, after watching your videos, I got the PreSonus Studio Live mixer. Oh, cool. It went, you went for the 16R rack version, which is really sweet. Yeah, that's a good, a nice rack mixer.
Yeah.
I've never used it, but I've seen it, and that's a really cool mixer.
It's a Studio Live, you know. I mean, it's essentially it's the same as every other one you've used, just a different format, you know.
Yeah, it's good. PreSonus makes when you talk about digital mixers, live mixers, digital racks, the PA stuff in particular.
Yeah.
They make the best stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
In the price point.
In that price point.
You can go up to the Midas and some of the real high end stuff, but now you're talking big bucks. But for normal people money, they're actually really good quality stuff.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of digital live mixers out there that's tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, these things are less than $5,000 and they actually work really well for everything that you get.
Yeah.
Dang
from Vietnam.
From Vietnam.
Nice.
Welcome.
Yep.
I decided to order the Nova after watching your room correction calibration videos. Not sure if it would be better than the Genelec one, but I'm sure it'll do something. Oh, the Nova's, you're gonna love the Nova.
It's gonna do a lot.
You're gonna love the Nova. No doubt about that. Some other videos that are coming. I've done the unboxing. You guys saw that. It was really an unboxing and comparing it to the ST2 Pro, just so people knew, well, what are the differences and is it worth upgrading if I own an ST2 Pro? All of that. It's mainly
size.
It's a longer video, but I go through all the different feature set.
Yeah.
And then the next video you guys will see is I've already actually recorded it, filming the calibration process.
Yep.
So people can see how do you do the room correction? How do you hook it up? Then we're going to do a series of videos on the new application, the desktop app, because the Nova is more than just room correction now. It's also a full monitoring switching system.
Yep.
Which is something that the ST Pro is not. So that in and of itself, for me, was worth the upgrade because I like that feature.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through the app and show all the different things the app can do. That'll probably be a few videos.
Yep.
And then also the remote that you can use for speaker switching, volume control.
Yeah, that's the part I'm looking forward to.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
So all that stuff's coming. So when it's all said and done, you've only seen one of what will probably be 5 or 6 videos around the Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that it'll be. So if you ordered yours, have no fear. There'll be some videos to help support, get you running, but it is pretty simple to use, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the line that says, but I'm sure it'll do something. I've got news for you because I was just messing around with it today too, and clicking the room correction in and out. Yeah, it's a stunning thing.
Oh, yeah,
hear.
It's unbelievable.
It's a stunning thing when you click it in and out.
It's not subtle.
It's not subtle at all. It's a huge, quantifiable difference, and it's like and it's like the big thing for me on today's was because like I said, this is all new for me because you got the new monitors in here and everything else, and so like I'm relearning what the room sounds like, but what the difference for me was the depth. You know, I mean, it went, without it on, it went dead flat. And then when you turn it back on, I got a full 3D sound field out of it. So but that's got a lot to do, I think, with the phase correction end of it too. Right. Because like when I'm doing in my studio, because I use the ARC system at home, when I'm doing it in my studio, it doesn't give you that 3D change that you got here. But I think a lot of that has to do with there's a lot of factors involved in that. Right. But it definitely was there. Yeah.
So the difference between, ARC or SonarWorks and something like a Trinnov is there's a lot of stuff going on. But the main, with the ARC and the SonarWorks, you get the EQ piece of it. I think they even do the time delay piece of it. But what they don't do is phase. And that's huge. That's one of the biggest selling points of a Trinnov. Yeah. And now with the Nova, you have the whole monitoring control system, which is just a nice,
which I'm looking forward to having that remote up there.
And the remote is, I'm telling you, dude, it's maybe...
Yeah, it's the size of your phone.
A little bit bigger than this, maybe twice the size of an iPhone, but it's not like this big, gigantic controller. It really is. Yep. It's smaller than this. It's not even the length of this.
When you held it up to the camera, you were holding it like this.
It's not big. It's pretty nice. So you're going to like it, man. Don't worry.
Yeah. You're going to love it, trust me.
You're going to like it. Okay, Happy New Year to you as well. Let's Groove 22.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can roll down. You can scroll down.
Oh, yeah. Scroll down.
There you go. Thank you.
Backdrop looks good. Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It's the new configuration in the studio.
Every time we reconfigure the room, it all looks different. You know.
Yeah, this is going to stay like this for a while.
Yeah,
though.
please. Yeah, you know,
we're not going to change it.
Yeah, let's not tear it down.
Hey, what's
again.
going on? Good to
Hi,
see
Logic.
you. Good to see you.
Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah. Hopefully 2024 is an improvement over 2023 for everybody.
It will be, hopefully.
I mean, for me, it couldn't get much worse. So.
Just getting into hardware, ran a mix bus into a 2 pre-comp and EQ.
Yeah.
What a difference in depth and body.
Yeah.
And lack of better, for lack of a better term. No, that's a pretty accurate term. That's the kind of words that we use here. Yeah, it's way different, right?
Yeah.
It's way different.
Well, I like the fact that you're using a pre. Okay, yeah. I really do, because like, I mean, for me, because I know for Dave and a lot of stuff, he usually goes straight to a bus comp on the master bus as your first piece.
Actually, in this case, it's the last piece.
Yeah, but that's the first. That's the first thing. That's the first thing you recommend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Usually,
if you're going to go hardware on a master bus, the first thing you go for is a bus comp.
Yeah, you know? bus EQ thing. Yeah, comp EQ thing.
And for me,
or a color box like the Fusion.
But for me, it was always a preamp first. It's always a preamp first for me. I don't know why. I mean, like, I can't really like quantify why it is for me.
Probably because of the transformers. Because the preamps that you use you use API style, right?
Well, no, mine is it's a Neve.
But you got transformers.
Yeah, 2 transformers got an input and an output.
That's why.
And that's exactly it too. Because like it's you know, said it a million times on this channel. I'll say it again for this play. When you run music through a mile of wire wrapped around an iron core, it just sounds better. I'm sorry, you know, it just does.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, so for me, the first thing I ever put on the master bus was a preamp. And like that was everything I wanted there. You know.
Yep.
So like I said, like right now, the setup I have now is a pair of Golden Age Premium, because they've got 2 levels. This is the upper level.
Yep.
They're Neve style, and they've got two transformers in each one on the input, one on the output side. So it's literally like on my master bus, I've got 4 transformers.
Yeah, that's why you like that sound.
And I absolutely love that sound.
Yeah, so I tell people use something on the master bus. You know, it depends on what you want. If you want hardware, or if you want transformers or not. But yeah, it should make a world of difference, man. And like you said, now once you're into hardware, you're addicted.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is where when you
welcome to the rabbit hole.
Welcome to the rabbit hole. When you're working in the box for a long period of time, and the first time you get into the hardware and you can hear the difference, you go, oh boy.
Yeah, and it's an instantaneous reaction.
It is. But don't go crazy. Don't jump the gun. I mean, if you got a good master bus chain, work with that for a while.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll be happy. You'll really like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Just getting into hard. Okay, this is the Genelecs again. The Genelecs have their own calibration system, but they said it's nothing about phase and time align. That's why I want to know. But yeah, the software DSP, and there's more than just Genelec makes, and there's other speaker manufacturers that do such a thing. Your Heads did that, didn't it?
Yeah, the heads had DSP, but they didn't have an app to control them with.
Yeah.
You know, but the DSP was you could adjust time align and stuff like that with them.
Yeah,
you know, they were a little. It was a little wonky, but they had it.
Yeah, so the DSP that you're going to find in the speakers will do some stuff for you. Will help depending on where you position your speakers and if you're in a corner or up against a wall. But it is nothing like what you're going to experience with a Trinnov. Nothing. It's not even in the same hemisphere. And that's why the Trinnov is expensive, because it is a piece of gear that does something that no other gear out there does. Also, the other thing about Trinnov, if you don't know, as I learned as I got to, because I never heard of them prior to owning a Trinnov.
Yeah, neither did I. I had no idea who they were.
You know where they're really, really big and have spent many, many years is in home theater, like real high-end home theaters. They have a Trinnovs are over at what's the name of George Lucas's studios? Skywalker.
Skywalker Ranch.
Whatever.
Yeah. Lucasfilm Limited.
His big place, big commercial place where they do all the movies, all outfitted with Trinnovs.
Shocking.
So the Trinnov has been, now there's different models. The ST2 Pro and the Nova are more for studios, control room music studios. But they've been doing the Dolby, Atmos, home theater, commercial movie houses and theaters for years.
Yeah, and they invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into their setups.
So the Nova is a few grand. If you want to buy one of their top end systems, you're looking at multiple tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But they're really they're like the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff that's coming that I'm under NDA with. I can't talk about, but some features that if you have a Nova, because of the new architecture, it's all just a software update. You're not going to outgrow a Nova unless you were going to a full-on 14.1 room.
Right, but as long as it's fitting your 2.1 with 3 monitor selection and everything else,
then you should be fine.
You'll be fine.
Or up to 5.1.
Yeah.
But they're going to be doing some stuff with base management and just stuff that blows you away. Stuff that they've been doing in the home theater and Dolby rooms for years, and now that technology's been perfected and it's trickling down to things like the Nova.
Yeah.
And what all that really means is your room is going to be even dialed in more accurately. Your mixes are going to translate even better than they even do now. So if you get a Nova, or if you have a Nova, you're going to, a lot of these things are going to come as just software updates. And you're going to really be able to, it's going to be it's an investment that you'll have the whole time you have a studio.
Yeah.
And so trust me when I tell you, it is nothing like the stuff that's in the Genelec speakers or any other speaker manufacturer for that matter.
Yep.
It's not even close.
Yeah, they went huge, you know.
Hi there. Good to see you.
Hi, Dina. Use the Warm MPX pre. Oh, that's the new tube one? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. All right.
I haven't used it, but I've heard about it.
No experience with it.
Because I look for the best bang for buck gear. API Select is an okay deal. Yep. The SR24 EQ sounds great, but no Q. Good for smooth bus EQ.
There you go. Yeah, you know.
There you go.
There you go.
I haven't tried the API Select stuff. That's like the lower, the more affordable version of their the 550, 560.
Yeah.
It's the more lower end, and I don't know what's different about it.
Yeah.
My guess is it's just there's probably some features that aren't in the Select.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at. Well, he says there's no Q, no Q, so that right there is a limiter. There's a limit to it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff there that's not in the originals.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, like I have that. My mix bus is a really interesting mix of stuff because like I've got a Neve preamp, but then I've got an SSL ultraviolet EQ and an SSL bus compressor.
Right.
And then I go back to the Neve for the 542 porticos.
Yeah.
And I go to SPL for the big knobs. Like it's a really interesting mix of hardware in that, but it just like I said, I brought a set of tracks in here that I did for our video on our null test video.
Yeah.
And like just the contrast between the sound that we got from the Fusion warm audio bus compressor to the setup I have now.
Big difference.
It was a huge difference, you know. I mean, it was like, but like, like I said too, it's like, I mean, that does come down to a money thing too.
Sure.
You know, because the Fusion bus compressor that was max $3,000. The setup I have now was significantly more money than that. So you would hope for an improvement, Well,
the Fusion is less than $3. Oh, you said the Fusion.
Yeah, the Fusion and the warm audio bus compressor combined.
Got it.
It depends on what price level you buy it at, you know. But believe me, you go to Reverb right now and you can buy all the Fusions you want,
Yeah.
They're all over Reverb right now, and there's a number of warm audio bus compressors too, so you get it for half of what I paid for it.
Yeah, what are the Fusions selling for these days?
I got $1,450 for mine.
So $1,500.
So in that range, $1,500, and
18, that's
where the market's at. I mean, mine was mint condition, and it went for that. And that became a frustration factor for me because I had it listed for well over a month, and there was nothing. Yeah. I mean, it was like I started it at 1,800, and it got nothing. So I dropped it to 16, and I had a little banter back and forth with a couple people, and then finally a guy came up with a number I could live with, and I sent it to him, But
yeah.
It was like I wanted more for it, but if the market's not going to support it, there's nothing we can do about it.
It's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it.
That's for sure.
You know what I mean? I think the Fusion's a good box.
Fusion's a great box. Believe me, I'm not saying the Fusion is a bad box, especially if you can get a used one for $1,500, you've got way more than your money's worth out of it.
Yeah, it's a good box.
So I mean, like you'll never hear me say it's a bad box. It's just that because I went and copied you.
Pretty much.
What I mean? Like you inspired my thing. And like, so I upgraded and I'm happy I did. But if I had was the Fusion and the warm motor bus compressor, I'd be perfectly fine.
It's definitely sounded
perfectly
good.
fine with it. You
It
know?
definitely sounded good. Do you know of the TAC Scorpion console? And if so, what do you think of it? I've heard of the name, but I don't have any experience with it.
No idea.
Unfortunately, I wish I can help you.
Sorry, bro. Can't help you.
Can't help you with that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the big words, guys. It's coming to my place in 3 months. Cool. Looking forward to having it as my daily driver. One more question. What do you think of the digital recall hardware gear? The ones that make it, it's great. I mean, I have 4 or 5 pieces from West Audio, and I love it just because of that. That's really nice.
And it helps that the West Audio stuff sounds amazing, too.
Yeah, and I think also Neve has a couple of pieces that are like that now.
Yeah, they're getting into it now, too. They have the app and everything.
Really good. I don't know who else is doing it yet.
There's not a huge segment of the market going that way yet. I think there's a lot of development has to go in that, because you've got all servo controlled everything going on in those things, and like you said too, like when you switch them in and out, you can hear all those switches.
Yeah, you know, relays happening.
Hear all the relays snapping open and close. There's a lot of technology in there, a lot.
But they're, West Audio's doing it, and they're doing it at affordable prices. I mean, those.
But they kind of didn't. I don't know what their history is, but this is what they do.
This is all they do.
You know, I mean, like you're looking at somebody like an API that has to take something like the 5500, and convert that over to so that's a huge undertaking for them.
Probably, yeah. I love any time there's a company that makes digitally controlled hardware, I'm at least willing to look at it.
Oh hell yeah.
I wish more companies did it. Maybe they will in the future.
And the West Audio stuff is very seamless too, especially like if you have one of their carriers that you can plug in. Yeah, it's seamless. You know, I mean, like you put the plug in on, and it just works. There's no question about it.
You're operating it like a regular plug-in, and but it's the hardware, and it works perfectly.
And to their credit, they make really good sounding hardware.
Yeah,
you know, so that helps too, because if you made a piece of trash sounding piece of junk but gave it amazing freaking digital control, I wouldn't buy it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's all about the sound.
You got to sound good.
It's all about the sound in the end, anyway. Yeah. But anytime I can get a hold of digitally controlled hardware, if I need something, I love it.
Yeah, I'm all over it. You know.
Do you ever have issues with noise in your chain from your wireless mouse or computer? Do you keep your gear away from the computer? Having some issues with my room layout, I think. No, I don't. No. My computer is, well, you can't see it, but my computer is in a rack that's right next to the gear right next to the rack with all the gear.
Yep.
And I'm running just a Mac Mini. So I don't have any issues with noise in this system at all, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we turn the system on,
it's dead silent.
It's dead silent. Now, a lot of that has to do with, again, we talked about cabling in the past and
power conditioning and
power. There's many power conditioners. I got clean power at the house. The studio has its own electrical panel.
Careful with cable management, so that
management, all the signal flow cables are all Mogami Gold and Jumper Z. There isn't an affordable cable in the rig.
Not anymore.
And I think all of that together all compounds is a system that's quiet.
Yep.
But I don't get, like, if you're asking about like wireless keyboards and stuff, I've never noticed anything like that.
And in my studio, my studio is a 5-foot wide desk, and my computer is literally sitting right next to the desk.
And you don't have any issues?
I have no noise issues at all with anything.
Yeah, so you have a lot of hardware
The biggest issue I have is I got to keep the cell phone away from it, because the cell phone emits a signal.
Yeah, sometimes.
You know, so I keep the cell phone across the room.
Right.
But other than that, no, I have wireless keyboard, wireless mouse, and the computer literally sitting, 3 feet away from everything.
Yeah.
And I have no issues at all with any noise at all. So I'm not sure what you got going on there, bro.
There, Chris, but you got something happening, unfortunately. And that sucks. I would hate noise issues.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy.
Let's scroll down here.
Yep. His West Audio was my next venture. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're going to get the 500 series stuff by them, get their 500 series rack. They make 2 of them. They make the Super Carrier, which is the black one, has 11 slots. And they make the Titan, which is a white unit, the white face, and that has 10 slots.
Yep.
There's only really 2 differences. One has 11, one has 10. And the other one is on the Titan, you only have to run one USB cable out of the back of the Titan to the computer, and then all of your West Audio modules in the front rack, even if you had 10 modules, only need one USB cable.
Yeah, which is great because you can run a lot of USB cables.
Pardon me. On the Super Carrier, it's not like that. Super Carrier is a more traditional rack. So if you put, let's say, 3 West Audio modules in a Super Carrier, you have to have 3 USB cables, one from each one of the modules.
Yeah.
And each one of the modules has a USB cable right on the front, a micro USB.
Yeah, and then it turns into a whole cable management issue and everything else.
So if you're going to get into the West Audio ecosystem, I would tell you buy the Titan, and then you could still put anybody's 500 series stuff in the rack. But if you ever have any of the West Audio stuff, you only need one USB cable. Yeah. And I've had both of those racks now. Well, we got 3 of them actually.
Yeah, you do. You've got 2 Super Carriers and a Titan.
I got 2 Super Carriers and a Titan. I've never had a problem with any of them.
No, they're solid. They're solid.
And they're on the higher end side price wise, or like $1,000 or so, $1,100.
Yep.
The difference between those racks and like maybe you say a $400 or $500 API rack, from what I'm told, is depending on the modules you stick in them, they could get noisy.
Yeah. It's a power distribution issue.
It's a power distribution issue. It's also the way the power supplies to the racks.
Yep.
If they're internal to the rack, sometimes depending on the module that's next to it, that can cause some weirdness.
Yep.
Or on the West Audio, all the power supplies are in these mammoth power bricks.
Those things are huge.
That sit on the floor. They got these thick, looks like big electrical cords. I mean, you know, so they're
heavy
built,
duty.
They're built really rugged, and they're dead quiet.
Yeah, and I've got radial. I use the radial.
I've used those stuff, and theirs were good too.
Yeah, I mean those. But the thing I like about the radials is you can drop them down the stairs. You know, I mean those things are so heavy duty, and they've got really good power distribution and everything else too. The Lin 76 gets noise in it from something, but everything else is. Yeah, I think I would probably just look at that one piece then. You know, I mean,
could be the module itself.
Yeah. So, you know, it could be something wrong with that one piece.
And again, I don't have a lot of experience with Lindell. I know you do.
Yeah, I've got enough experience with Lindell. I mean, that's just the stuff is good. I mean, it certainly is not top of the line.
Well, again, sometimes, and again, I don't know. It's just one of the things that I would think that could cause an issue is if, you know, you buy a 500 series EQ or a compressor for a few $100.
Yeah.
And then you buy an equivalent of a name brand for $1,100, and people go, well, you know, it's a FET style this, and this is a FET style this. Well, you know, some of this has to do with all the component choices that are inside, the way they're built, the way they're powered. You know, there's a lot of that where, you know, the more, at least in my experience, and I got a lot of 500 shit here.
Yeah, you do.
And it's all name brand stuff. I never have any of those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
But that's not to say you couldn't buy something affordable and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, well,
but if you stick it in between maybe 2 or 3 other modules, maybe depending on the rack, maybe you can get some noise. I don't know.
I think it depends on the module too, because I mean, the DBX 560s are super cheap. You know what I mean? They're super cheap.
Yeah.
I've had not an issue with them anywhere. Never once. No noise, no weird power supply issues, no nothing. They just plug in and they work.
Definitely could be his phone. He's saying
could be his phone.
Oh yeah, if you got your phone sitting right next to your workstation.
Yeah, put the phone across the room.
Yeah, that might be that could be
that's
that could
one
be
thing
part
to
of
do
it.
for sure. Yep,
Yeah,
Titan all the way for sure.
You won't be disappointed with a Titan. And go to Sweetwater. If you go to Sweetwater, use my affiliate link.
Yeah. Did you see the new Harrison console? I saw it.
Yeah, Chris, how are you? We talked about this. Hey, you know, Chris, also too, while it's on my mind, Chris sent us a really great set of multi-tracks to use, and I just haven't gotten to them, Chris. I have them. It's actually on my desktop. I have the folder there going like, he's next.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to it. So we're going to feature your music on the channel, Chris. I promise you. It's coming. It's in the pipeline. And hey, maybe it'll end up in a POV mix if you're willing to give the multi-tracks away. If you're willing to let other people mix your music and I could give away the multi-tracks, let me know. It'll probably get on the channel faster, but I didn't forget you. So anyway, the next, the Harrison console. Yeah, we talked about this.
We've talked about it a few times. Yeah,
it looks cool.
It looks cool. It looks like a Harrison console.
It's $100,000.
Yeah, it's $100,000. There it is. You know, I mean.
Which is great. I mean,
you know,
hey, right on, man.
Yeah,
you know?
Go for it, baby. You know, I mean, if you can afford it, if you got a place to put it, go for it. You know, I mean, Harrison has a thing. You know,
and it's got a long a legacy that's, you know.
Yeah, and they, like I said, they have a thing. You know, and you know, there's a lot of amazing music was recorded and mixed on Harrison consoles.
Yeah, for sure.
If that's your thing, go for it. You know, but like I said, like you say too, I mean, it's $100,000. And up. So
they start at 95,000.
Yeah, so there you go.
And I think they're modular, and he could build patch bays and stuff. But you're 90.
Yeah. Just your entry point is 95 grand.
95 grand. At least that's what they said at AES.
Yeah. And that's not engraved in stone either, because that changes a lot.
Depends on what features you put in it. But what's good about it is that there's some modular things. You can buy them in buckets. You can add patch bays. There's certain features. I think you can add automation. There's things you can do.
Yeah.
Where like in mine, it's kind of, that's what you get.
Yep.
You can't do anything, take anything away. You want less faders, go buy the 16 channel version. You want more faders, buy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, which is one of the drawbacks, but
yeah, I mean, to me, this is all the board for what we do.
For what I do, it's fine.
This is all the board you're ever going to need.
Yeah, I had some comments in one of our videos the other day. Someone on our channel, not in a bad way. It was just he's an API guy. He has an API console.
That's your thing.
He has, I think, a 24 channel fader. The 2408, maybe, I forget the model. But he has automation in the desk.
Sure.
Because he was looking at the West Audio NG level video.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm glad I bought my console because I got it. I got mine
built in the desk."
In the desk, yeah. And he was saying, "Yeah, it kind of sucks. You have to go out and get the West Audio." I said, "Well," and
how much was your desk?
How much? And I said, "Well, wait a minute. We got to compare apples to apples." So I said, "What is?" I didn't know what API he had. He said, he says, "Yeah, with my desk, 24 faders, automation is just shy of $100 grand."
Right.
I go, "Well, there you go." I said, "So."
Yeah.
And again, API is an amazing console.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have an API.
Sure.
Who wouldn't?
I'd love to have a Neve or an API or a Trident or an SSL or anything, you know, I mean, honestly.
But yeah, like I was saying to him, I was like, "Look, you're right, but you're at 100,000.
Yeah.
This is at half that cost."
Yeah. 24 faders opposed to 64.
Right. And then you have, for $4 grand, you could put 32 channels of automation in with the NG levels.
Yeah. And it works amazing.
Or if you want to spend an extra 2,000, you can put them on the buses too. You could, for $6 grand, you could put it across everything.
You automate the whole board
if you want to.
Yeah. So you're still at a lot less money than you paid for the API.
And
you get a lot more, and you have a lot more to do with it.
Right.
So.
And like I tell everyone, there is no console that I'm aware of. There isn't. I know there's not, that at less than 100,000 that gives you automation built into the desk, recall assist. Some people, dynamics on every channel. There's not even a console today that has dynamics on any channel. Unless, I think you're probably looking at 150,000 plus.
Yeah.
I think the Duality has it on every channel, has dynamics on every channel.
It does.
But I think that's like a $200,000 board.
It is.
It's,
it's
awesome.
They're like, what did I see it online the other day for like $214,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, so,
if you're under,
it's a lot of money.
If
dude.
you're under 100,000, you're going to have to compromise with something.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of what do you want to compromise with?
In all honesty, we've never once missed for 1 second having dynamics in the board. Not for 1 second.
No, because what you found was like
the board compresses.
Well, how much you didn't use?
I hardly compressed anything.
You didn't use even a third of the gear. That's
I like I said, it was a simple, basic, straightforward mix.
Right.
I mean, it looked complicated for 29 channels, but it was a simple, basic, and I mean, like all of my dynamics were on the buses. And like I said, and I didn't miss having dynamics in the board at all. I mean,
you wouldn't use it on every track anyway.
Yeah, the board compresses, especially too, because like we're hitting the preamps hard. Well, not hard, but we're hitting the preamps at a fair amount. You're getting compression right off the preamps.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right from the start. And like I said, the tracks I was mixing today, these were really well done tracks.
Yeah, so it's already
So you don't need to do a lot to them. You know what I mean? This is basically just getting it all to fit together and then, finding some space around them. That's what you're mixing for.
There's more than 32 channels of compressors in all these racks. Yeah. If you wanted to compress everything in the mix, you could.
I would have gone crazy. I could have gone crazy with it too,
so,
but I just didn't want to.
I don't miss the dynamics.
No.
I don't even, now that I have the NG levels, I really don't miss the automation.
You've got full automation there. There's nothing to miss.
Is it a little more convenient to have the flying faders? Yeah, I guess it is. But again, you're talking about 2 times the money.
Yeah. But also, in all honesty, from everything I've seen with the NG levelers, to me, when you have the flying fader stuff, to set them up in their little computer thingies is a pretty complex freaking thing to set up.
Yeah.
So with the NG leveler, it's a plugin.
Basically, it is.
You know?
Well, it is.
Yeah, it's a plug-in, and off you go. I mean, like,
yeah.
I don't know how the duality works. I'm not going to sit here and claim to know how it works.
It's got they're offline faders.
But to set the programming up, you know what I mean? Like, how many steps are involved in setting up the programming?
In the new
you
ones,
know?
it's a touch of a button.
Okay, there you go.
It's not like you're thinking of the old.
Yeah, because that's what I've seen.
No.
Yeah.
The new ones are just like
touch a button and go.
Just like the APIs.
Yeah,
just go.
But the NG leveler is just the same thing. It's put a plug in and go to work. I mean, it's right there. It's seamless. It's up and running.
Yeah, the only difference is in the NG level. So people just, if you don't know what that is, go watch the video on the channel. It doesn't turn your faders on your console into motorized faders. It's not. You have to.
It's in the box.
In the box, post processing.
Yep.
And you can write the automation either with a DAW controller if you want the hands-on, or you can do it with your mouse, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever's convenient for you.
Yep.
We do it with a DAW controller. So it works. And it's all 100% recallable. So if you have an analog desk without automation in it and you want an affordable way to do it, the NG levelers is the way to go. It's the way to go. So let's see.
Lindell Audio 10 is a 10-slot chassis, outside amazing price, external power supplies, key for load. Yeah, we've been through this a bunch of times too. Yeah, and I mean, believe me, I'm not saying that Lindell makes bad stuff. I'm just, because like I have a few Lindell pieces and they're perfectly fine. But to me, the difference between like a less expensive box and like the radials or the NG levels, there's just a build quality there.
Sure, yeah.
There's a build quality there that I see the difference of, Yeah,
and here's the other thing too about hardware in general. And people probably know this, and we've said this before. Also think of the if you can. Again, everyone has a budget, but think of it as an investment. So in other words, you buy an API module, any 500 series by API or by Neve or by SSL, the name brands, Trident, the big names.
Yeah.
If you ever want to resell those,
they're going to hold
their value.
Yeah.
Try selling a Lindell $300 EQ. You'll be lucky if you get $100 for it.
Yeah.
And it would take forever to sell it. And so some of it is, you got to think of it, or at least I try to think of it as an investment. If I can, I would rather wait and try to save some money and buy the piece that I really want.
Yeah.
Instead of a downgraded piece of something, because what if I want to get rid of it?
Yeah. Well, I just went through selling. I just went through selling a warm audio bus compressor. Actually, I sold all three of my warm audio pieces.
Hey, actually, they're probably one of the only brands in that more affordable market.
Yeah, that they hold their value.
But you can sell them quick. They're popular.
Yeah, they hold their value a little bit because they are popular.
You could get somebody to buy them.
But I mean, I think I paid $8.99 or $7.99 for the bus compressor. Got $5 for it. Then Reverb rapes you for their end.
Yeah, well.
And then but yeah, I mean, like I sold all three of my warm audio pieces, and they sold easily. I mean, they went fast, and I mean, I got fair pricing for it. You never, believe me, when you sell something used, you never get as much as you want.
Welcome to the used market.
So but that's the way the market is. So.
To me, the lunch boxes on the market are West Audio and IGS.
Okay.
I don't know. I know the name, but I've never tried their stuff. But yeah, I'm sure.
Best is always a dangerous thing to get talking about on this channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's not a matter of best; it's what works for you.
What works, what you can afford.
Yeah,
and it depends on your setup, because there's a big difference. The more cabling, the more hardware you have, the bigger your analog or hybrid rig gets.
Yeah,
I think the more important, the higher end cables, the higher end pieces, when you start talking about the noise and the finickiness of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
The higher, that's where you just have one or two pieces and a couple of cables. Yeah, you can get away with more affordable stuff.
Fine.
But when you start loading lots of stuff in a studio, I think that makes a difference too.
We
just learned that, which we should have known. I should have known.
Yeah.
I told you about my speaker cable debacle.
Yep. Yeah.
It didn't dawn on me when I put the new focals and we rearranged the studio. Well, all the gear, and you guys will see all the videos if you haven't watched the studio rebuild already, but you'll see that where the interfaces are and the Trinnov is to where the speakers are a longer distance than they were before.
Yep. So
I went to run the speaker cables, and they weren't long enough.
Right.
So I just used what I had in the back. And I didn't even...
Mismatched cables.
There were mismatched cables.
Different lengths.
They were different lengths.
Yep.
And I didn't realize it at the time because, well, Dave will knows when you do a studio rebuild, there's 400 things going on in your head at once.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just hook them up. I wanted to break in the speakers. I didn't even take the time to say, well, what cables am I using here?
Yeah. What do I have in my hand?
And they worked. And then when we got everything set up, I'm sitting on, I'm listening, I'm looking at the board.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, something doesn't seem centered to me. Something seems just a hair bit to the left.
Yep.
I checked all my panning. I'm looking at all my meters. I'm checking all my connections. I'm going, what the hell's going on here? Yeah. And then I went behind one of the speakers to see if, I don't know, I wanted to
Was it plugged in all the way?
Was it plugged in all the way?
Yeah.
And I noticed, I'm going, wait a minute. On this speaker, I'm using a Mogami cable.
And you had a Monster on the other one?
On the other one, I was using a Monster, and it was a little too short. I had a 3-foot Proco extender to it to make it reach the speaker, which I know is a no-no. I didn't think about it when I did it.
Yeah.
Where on the other side,
it was a straight run.
It was a straight run, and it was a Mogami Gold.
Yep.
And then I said, wait a second. I wonder if there's a bad cable.
Yeah.
And then I started pulling all the cables out of the speakers, and I said, I got 2 different lengths, 3 different name brands.
Yep. And you've got one joined in on an XLR connector.
Never, right?
Yeah. So I said, what you end up with differences in resistances. There's all kinds of wacky attenuation going on from one to the other. And you're just out of balance. And that's one thing, like, because like
so when you think of XLRs and XLRs and XLR,
that should be the same. Yeah, no, they're different quality level of the cable itself is a different attenuation level in the cable.
And the other thing I didn't realize too is when you put a Trinnov in for our friend here that bought a Nova. So now remember, you're going to go from your audio interface to your console to the input of the Nova set of cables. Out of the Nova, you're going to go to all your speaker sets.
Cables.
So you got more cables than what you would traditionally have.
And you want to match them all.
You want to match them all. So what I ended up doing when I told Dave said, oh yeah, you probably got a resistance issue.
Yeah.
So what
diagnose it over a Zoom call.
So I went out to Sweetwater. I bought all the same length. I bought all Mogami Golds. Even though even the subwoofer cable didn't need to be 20 feet.
Yep.
But I bought 3, all the same lengths, put them all in. Sat down and you listened to it today.
Yeah, it's dead center.
Everything
it's dead center.
Everything lined up.
Yeah,
and so
I've always been anal. Like, well, my studio's a lot easier to rebuild, but I've always been very anal about that. Is especially like the signals to the speakers is they are the same cables and the same length always.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me.
Yeah, it's just for some reason, like I've never tried it without. Never tried it without doing that. But just something in my head always says no. They have to be the same length cable. They have to be the same cable.
So if you have one cable that's on the far side that needs to be 20 feet and the other one's close enough,
you're gonna have 15 feet of cable coiled up on the floor, but you're going to do it.
You don't want to necessarily put a 20 and a 10 footer.
Yeah, no, you're going to have 2 20s.
Get 2 20 footers.
Because as the speaker signal when you're using powered signals, the speaker signal's a line level signal. It's a small voltage signal. So any attenuation, any resistance change, anything at all between your source and your speaker is going to be instantly noticeable because these things are amplifying to a huge degree.
It was it wasn't way off, and it didn't even and I'm looking and I'm taking the console and I'm panning, and I said, if I pan it to the right, just a nudge, everything's centered up.
Yeah, but then your meter's uneven.
Then I'm going, that doesn't make any sense, and that's what it was. It was I had 2 different types of cables.
It was the same kind of thing as when we tried to use the gender changers on the DB25 cables. You changed the resistance in the cables and everything just went to hell.
Right. It was just so.
And that was hell. I mean, like the speakers were bad, but that was hell when we did that.
Yeah. So
we're never doing that again.
It was an expensive lesson, but I learned my lesson to just use the right cables. Get the right cables up front. Invest in the infrastructure. That's the big thing is you have to invest in the infrastructure, Yeah. You're welcome, Chris. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Chris. Thank you. Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Hey, Anthony, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, $95,000 is a bargain. Yeah, I mean, a pocket change, man,
Hey, if it's a bargain for you, brother, go ahead and buy it.
Babe,
Yeah, well, it's because when I see people buying, like I have a few students that I teach that have really high-end consoles, way more than bigger than me. And it doesn't make me feel bad about myself now.
No, not
so
at
now
all,
I go, hey, mine costs a lot of money, but this he's twice as crazy as I am.
Yeah, there's really nutty people out there, I mean, I know that too. There's so many great, why would you need dynamics? Honestly, for uniformity.
Well, you have so many great compressors. Why would you need dynamics on the board? You get to pick your flavor.
Honestly, it would be uniformity. You know what I mean? Yeah, like because like the way like when I'm an in the box mixer for the most part. The way I use a compressor on a channel strip is to get the attack, to get the release times all timed to the music and everything else, so that you're getting like those things are all pumping and breathing together. You know what I mean? So like when you have them on the board, you can set them up that way that they all work together. It's a uniform compression, controlled compression across the whole thing. Then you have your flavor compressors after that. That's the way you tend to mix in the box. And when you go to an analog setup, it's your thought process.
Right.
We found out really quickly because we were at the beginning. Anybody who wasn't here at the beginning, we were using channel strips in the box to get for controlled compression and then sending out to the board
when we first set up the studio.
And we came to the conclusion really fast.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. Wasn't necessary.
Totally didn't need it.
Totally unnecessary.
Totally didn't need it.
So, you know.
And I think too, again, I don't know because I'm only familiar with the vintage SSLs. I don't know much about the old Neves, the old APIs. I don't know if those Neves and APIs had dynamics on every channel. I don't know. I know the SSLs did.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons why a board like the old E and G series had those back in the early 80s and the mid 80s is that back in those days too, even though studios had lots of hardware, you didn't have as many companies making outboard compressors and EQs.
There weren't a lot of choices. There were not a lot of choices.
For compressors, they put it all on the board.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to have
racks
and racks and racks with the gear.
And plus, for that matter, too, Fairchilds are enormously expensive and enormous.
Yeah. And also to remember in the SSL was the compressor, but then it was also a gate.
Yeah, and
so you had a gate on every channel too.
But also too, like you said too, like your outboard compressors, they were like LA2As are big, they're hot, they're expensive, they're hard to maintain. The old ones are hard, they need maintenance. The Fairchilds are huge, 23 tubes in them. They need a lot of maintenance. Pultec EQs are huge. There's tubes in them. They need a lot of maintenance, you know? So like if you're laying in a lot of outboard gear, you're laying in a lot of logistical stuff that has to be taken care of. So having it in the board, like you say too, I mean, like you don't need all the outboard compressors. You do your compressing in the box, and then if you need bus or you want a specific flavor or whatever, and like you say too, like when you're using, you're looking for a tone from your piece of hardware more than you're looking for the compression end of it.
Right.
So you have these choices. So like you're going to use this on a vocal, you're going to use this on the bass. You're going to pick your tracks that need it.
Right.
You're going to pick your feature tracks that need it, and then leave everything else just to the board.
Yeah, so there's not a need today. I mean, and like I said, the SSLs, they don't have dynamics in them in the newer boards unless you go into the duality. And I want to say it's in the duality, but I gotta double check.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But there's different versions of the duality. I know the ones that are, the real big ones, they have them in every channel. Yeah. They have a gate compressor EQ.
Yeah, so it's basically a full SSL channel.
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah, and I may be talking out my butt, but I think the dualities are either E or G modeled, remember. I think. But I know this is an E model, right?
This is based on the E series.
Yeah, this is an E model.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know the AWS does not have dynamics in every channel. It has 2 of the 500 modules that you can in the master section that you can assign to any one of the 24 faders.
Yep. Yeah.
And then it has the bus compressor too, but you only get 2.
Yeah.
And those are 116 grams.
Yeah, and again too, you got 2, so now you have to decide what gets it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, which is always the thing too. And honestly, this is an E. I know I'm in the minority.
This is the E based on the
I'm in the minority. I would love a brown EQ instead of a black EQ, but that's me, you know.
That's why they call it the E.
Yeah, I would prefer the brown, but that's just me.
Yep.
You know.
So Chris, I hear you. You're right. We got if we want to compress all 32 channels of the SSL,
we sure could.
We have enough channels here, but we never ever
you just don't
use more than a half at any one mix.
And again, it depends on the mix too. Because like I said, today I had
5 pieces.
Today I had 5. I was running 5 pieces, and the API EQ. I put the API EQ on the drums.
Right, but that was probably one of the 5 or 6 pieces that you used.
Yeah, that's all I used. I used. Hang on, where's the sheet? Hang on a second.
And I do have 4 of the SSL E-Series Dynamics in the 500 rack.
Mix sheet.
So I do have 4 of them.
Yeah. I used the NG bus on the drums. I end up using the Audioscape F on the bass because I screwed something up. We'll talk about that later. I used LA3As on the guitar bus.
A handful.
I used the RIA on the 12 strings, and I used the DBX 160A mods on the vocals. And then, like I said, I had the API EQ on the drums. That's all the hardware I used other than the board.
Great.
Oh, and the reverbs. Don't forget about the reverb.
Yeah, but that's right. Okay.
But yeah. So like I said, as far as like flavoring was concerned, I had very specific ideas in mind of what I wanted each one to do.
Yeah.
And because I had 29 tracks, and I had 8 tracks of guitars, I had 6 tracks of 12 string.
Right.
You can't individually compress each one of those 12 tracks over here if you want to, because I like it unified. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those guys. I'm a glue guy. What do you want? You know? So like I had to do them on the buses. Had to.
But it worked.
But it also, like say, it completely reduced the amount of stuff I needed to use.
Right.
I only used 6 pieces of hardware across a 29 track mix, other than the board and the 2 reverbs.
Right.
That's not a lot's going on. With all the choices I had in the room, I could have gone absolutely ape shit crazy.
But you'll find the more you mix with analog, you'll find in a console, you'll find you don't need as much outboard gear.
No, and honestly too, like you said too before I started, you're going to be amazed at how little EQing you do.
Right, you didn't do a lot.
I did almost no EQ on that thing.
Because the tracks are recorded well, which is always you got to have that anyway.
Again, my guy Daniel knows how to record.
Yeah, in this studio, I only work with tracks that are recorded. We don't work with shitty tracks. So so that's part of it. And then again, you when you work with analog, you don't need. The only reason why you have I know you guys can't see it, but the only reason why I have it all is because they all sound a little different.
Yes.
And there's some choices.
Yeah.
And we took some behind the scenes footage for our mix prep that you guys will see as I put it all together probably another month.
Yeah, we were talking through which pieces to use on what.
So before we started rolling the camera, I said, we ought to do a behind the scenes of this. So when he got out his mix sheet, he was saying, he goes, Dave, this is a bass forward mix. Do I want to use this or do I want to use this compressor? And I'm like, okay, if it's bass forward, you want it more punchy, let's go with this as opposed to this.
Yes.
Now, if we didn't have both those compressors, because you could have said the exact opposite to me and I would have said, no, go with the V comp instead of the 1176.
Yep.
So it's just having them because they sound a little different, but I never used all the compressors in this rack ever.
Yeah, and I had specific things I wanted to. I knew I wanted LA3As on the guitar bus. I knew that coming in.
We have a pair of those.
I want an LA3A on the guitar bus. The 12 string was the mystery until you said RIA.
Yeah.
When you said RIA, it's like bing, that's what I want, The only thing like I said, the vocals were an issue for me because I did pre-compress the vocals. So it's like, okay, I did use FET on the vocal. I don't want to go FET to FET.
What did you do on it?
I put the vocals, all the vocals were run through a Bluey. The Bluey 500. The DBX mods, the DBX 160 mods.
The $400 compressors. Those are nice.
Friggin' things are amazing.
Yeah, those are nice.
And I mean, I wasn't being kind either. They were getting hit.
Yeah, those are nice compressors.
Yeah,
for the money.
they sound amazing for but the mods especially sound amazing.
Yeah, they do. They do.
But I mean, like I always tend to lean towards vocals. I always tend to lead towards FET into opto. FET into opto is always what I do. Is FET into opto. But I didn't have an opto option here because we don't have a stereo opto. I could have used the distressors on opto setting if I wanted to.
But it was a lead vocal, right?
It was a lead vocal.
Mono.
Yeah.
You could have used the
the lead vocal. The way it was because like the lead vocals up the middle and then the chorus and the bridges are dual. Are doubled.
So you needed stereo.
So I needed a stereo on the bus because, like I said, there's no background vocals. It's a full lead vocal all the way through.
Yeah, so we don't have a stereo opto. We have a stereo. We have the very mu, and then we have a VCA.
Yeah, but I was perfectly content using what I used, and it did sound really good.
We only have a mono LA. The opto.
Yeah, like I said, for what I was doing, like I was thinking the 260 VU or I was thinking the DBXs, but I like the DBXs are a little bit more. They're a little more than the 260 VU is.
Chris says I have an Audient 4816 Heritage Edition. That's a nice console.
Which
serves all my needs. But it's so cool to see the Harrison combining everything into one. Dante and the audio interface. Yeah, that I will say.
They did good.
That is the one killer feature. All the converters, everything is built into the desk.
Yeah, they did good.
That's kind of nice.
They did good.
Again, I don't know much about, I know what Dante is. I have no experience with it, but I know that's a great feature to have. And by the way, the Nova has Dante in it too.
Yeah, it's light speed. That is light speed.
And to have all the conversion, A to D, D to A, round trip, inside the Harrison, that is a cool. Well, again, this is one of the reasons why it
costs $100 grand.
That's why.
You're paying, you're getting everything for that.
You're getting all the stuff you need, you know.
I mean,
so that's really good.
Well, you're getting up into the money too, where I want the thing to go wash my car. You know what I mean? It's like, you're putting all that money out. I want to do everything.
Yeah,
you know?
and I mean
So Harrison made that happen. You know.
That's really good that they have the conversion in there. No worries, fellas. I know you guys are busy. Whenever you can. Oh, about the tracks. Okay, cool.
We'll get to you, bro. Don't worry. We're getting there.
It'll get there. I'm telling you. The thing I like about hardware that I own,
It's that I own it. Yeah,
I'm not paying to use it until it's not supported anymore. Well, yeah, you know what's funny? Remember when Waves did that thing about 6 or 8 months ago where they went?
Yeah, when they committed suicide. Yeah,
for one moment, they got rid of all the perpetual licenses.
Yeah, and said, and me as a Mercury bundle owner,
and everybody
was not a happy camper.
And then they redeemed themselves. But a lot of some videos that were coming out by guys that are hardware guys were saying. And this is one of the reasons why I own hardware.
Yeah, but you know what? Too, like
no company. You know what? I
get
take
it.
My license away from me.
Here though, I get it. I own the hardware. Okay, hardware is great.
Yeah.
Until it breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, because listen, it will eventually. It's gonna wear out. I mean, no matter. I mean, I know there's freaking 50-year-old LA through 2As out there. I get it. Okay, but. Sooner or later, something's going to happen. Like, listen, one good power spike and the whole rack is shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, so it's like,
that's why you got called business insurance.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I get where everybody's coming from with I own the hardware. But yeah, see, like, and me, because like, I'm a noted plug-in junkie.
No power outages you need to worry about.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. And either that too. I don't worry about licensing. I don't worry about them becoming unworkable because they just like, dude, you can go pull 32-bit plugins that haven't been touched in 10 years.
Yep.
And they work.
No, I think the point people were saying is that you really don't own the plugin.
You own software. You don't own anything tangible.
Right.
You own code.
You own code, and you only really own the license to use. Like, in other words, a company, I guess I would think that we were saying that, like, you don't have to worry about the company taking your stuff away.
I get it, okay? But, and like, too, because, like, somebody like me, I'm like, yes,
but they redeemed themselves.
Yeah, they did redeem themselves. Because there's a lot of people out there that haven't forgiven them for it. You know what I mean? There's, I'll never use another Waves plugin no matter what they do. I get it. You're fine. You do you.
Right.
I have the whole. I own every freaking Waves plugin there is to own.
It's easy. It's not easy just to say.
I can't just walk away from it. Plus, a lot of them are my favorite ones. So, like, I can't just walk away from them. And like, too, it's like,
hey James.
Hey Jimmy, are you home?
How are you?
I don't know. I think you're home,
Mr. Hawaii.
Yeah, Mr. Hawaiian vacation.
Must be nice.
Yeah, must be. But the thing with this, like, too, is like when you look at price of ownership too. It's like when you have, I'm going to say it out loud, 4,000 plugins.
Yeah, you got a problem.
And if you figure you paid an average of what per plugin, I mean, there's a lot of bundle and stuff in there too. So if you figure I paid even like a conservative $10 per plugin.
Oh, you paid more than that.
Yeah. Don't get me depressed, okay?
Yeah. What if you paid $50 a plugin on average?
I mean, okay, over the past 5-6 years, I spent $40,000 to $80,000 on plugins.
Can Dave could have owned a console?
Dave could have owned the fucking console.
I never even thought of it that way, Dave.
Yeah.
So let's say you got 4,000 plugins. Yeah. Times an average of $50.
No, I don't spend big money on plugins. Believe me.
You have 4,000?
Yeah, I got 4,000. But save $20.
$20.
$80,000.
80 grand. Mm-hmm. Dave could have bought 2 of these. You could have almost bought a Harrison console, brother.
Could have almost bought a Harrison console, yeah. But where would I put it, Dave? Where would I put it?
Right there. See on the camera?
Yeah, but where would I put it?
$80,000. How many of you guys out there got more than 2,000 plugins? If you got 2,000 plugins on your system, how
much money have you spent?
And
honestly, I'll be honest with you too.
You have an SSL sitting in your computer.
And honestly, straight up, there is not a crack in my collection. Okay, every single plugin.
No, we're talking about paid
every single plugin I own is legally bought and paid for. There's not a crack in my collection. I'm not that guy.
So there you go. So if you have a couple of thousand plugins on your system that you bought over time, over 10 years or 5 years, at $20 a piece, if you got them on sale and bundles and subscriptions, you're at 80 grand. So for everybody,
believe me, I know the math really well.
I didn't really realize the math until we just did it.
Yeah.
So for everyone that says, "Oh my God, you're an absolute imbecile for spending $50,000 on an SSL,"
You're really not.
I would say
you're really not.
Go add up all your plugins in your computer and do that.
You listen. It takes, and I admit it freely too.
By the way, those plugins are worth nothing to anybody but you.
Yeah.
I could sell this thing tomorrow.
Yep.
And I could get 2/3 of what I paid for it.
Yeah. And I said, I mean, the thing with it too is like, I mean, I know the math very well.
I never realized it.
Yeah, I know the math really well, and the thing with it too is like, I mean, I certainly like you. Yeah, you can use that math to justify anything at this point. You know, and he goes, I did. Yeah, when I sit down, I think about $80,000 to $100,000 in just plugins.
Yeah, and you have more than the average bear.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, listen, I'm out of my mind.
But even if people have a couple, I mean, I have over 1,000 when my system boots up. Just things I've gotten over the years, and you use some, you don't use some. You got a bundle, you don't.
Yeah,
I've used. I probably got 1,500 plugins on my system.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't pay. I know I paid more than $20 a plugin.
But a lot of those plugins came to you as on promo too, though, right? On license because of reviewing stuff, or no?
I wouldn't. Not the majority of them.
Not the majority. Okay.
No, some of them certainly.
Yeah.
But even
I mean, I know, not the majority of them, but do you like, you know, and it's funny too. It's like, and not everybody buys every plugin that gets released. Okay, they're not, very few people are me.
I got a lot of students that have over 1,000 plugins because I do training with them all the time.
Yep.
They go on by plugins and plugins, and we all do it, right? So I've done it, he's done it, you've done it. I know you guys have done it.
Yeah.
So now that I look, so just look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the math. Okay. Yeah. Jason says Radial and
This was a fun conversation. I feel really terrible right now.
You could have bought the brand new Harrison
Hush
console.
now.
Radial and Rupert Neve also makes great 500 subs. Yep. Yeah, Rupert Neve.
I'm a Radial guy.
Yep. Rupert Neve Radial. Yep. I would say so.
Yep. I'm a Radial guy.
I've used both and they're both good.
Yep. And Cappy. Honest to God, I almost did buy a Cappy kit when I needed my last chassis. I almost bought the Cappy kit. Almost.
I love my Cappy EQs, man.
Yep, I almost bought it.
Those API 560s.
Oh yeah, but like the kit,
you didn't use them today, but man, they're good.
Yeah, they make a 500 rack kit where you build it yourself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they make a 500 rack kit, but the thing with it is there's got to be freaking 1,000 solder joints in it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean there's got to be like 1,000 solder joints.
Jason,
you have
you're
to
talking
do.
about making a Cappy rack? Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I almost did.
Wow.
But then I decided not to. But yeah, I almost went that way myself when I needed a rack. One time I needed a rack. I almost went for a Cappy kit.
So I own 2 of the Cappy EQs. I didn't build them. They were used. I bought them on Reverb, but I got them for about $600 a piece.
And they make amazing stuff.
I like their.
They make amazing stuff.
I wasn't sure if I was going to like them. I gotta say, I really like those EQs.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I like them a lot. They're really, really good.
The only thing I don't like about those EQs is that they have knobs instead of slides on them.
Yeah, these have the 550 kind of knobs, but it's based. They say it's
a
based
560 EQ.
That's what they say.
But it's 550 knobs. For me, it's like if it's a 560, it's got to slide.
Yeah,
that's me. Sorry, you know.
Yeah, it is a little. It is a little tight and a little fiddly, but they do sound good.
Yo, dude, everything I've ever seen from Cappy sounds amazing. So yeah.
Jimmy said he bought your.
Yes, he did. He made my life so much easier by buying that thing.
Is that the compressor?
No, that was the 2-channel Neve preamp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. he had one rack space left. I knew he had one rack space left. Because he put it on Instagram one time. He put his rack and there's one space on the bottom. One more to go. I went, oh, okay, because I'm going to be selling this in a little bit. So, hey, do you want a WA273? Yep, that was a really easy deal.
Nice.
It was a really easy deal.
Good for you, Jim.
He said yes, and I said, you fine, you can have it. Yeah.
Jason says, I noticed a DBX 510 sub harmonic in your rack.
Yes.
I have it, yes. Will you do a video on it? Yeah, it's on the list.
Yep.
Do you use it? I've used it a few times. I don't use it all the time, but I do like it. I like it as a secret weapon on kick. That's what I used it for. Also on bass.
Yeah, but you know, the thing with it is for you, with that API 550, 5500 EQ, That thing's amazing on the kick.
Yeah, but when you do more, there's a couple of tunes I did for Brandon that were more pop, and it was more sub 808 kind of kicky dancey kind of stuff.
Okay, because that doesn't do that.
And it does, but it not like the subharmonic really does a nice job of that. So I don't use it a lot. That was one of those utility.
Yeah, they cost $190.
Yeah, they were cheap, and I said, let me. I had a couple extra spaces. I got a couple of de-essers, and I said, let me try this. I got a transient designer. I think I got two. Do I have two?
You've got two. Yeah, you've got two SPL transient designers.
Two transient designers. Again, occasionally I use them, not very often.
Yeah.
Those are those kind of tools that I just like to have there. If I need them, I need them, but I don't use them all the time.
It does surprise me that you didn't double up on one of those de-essers, though.
I did.
You've got one of each.
I only got one of each because I just wanted to try the other one to see what the difference was.
Yeah.
And if I had to choose, I would get the SPL again.
Same here.
But the DBX works great too.
It does surprise me that you haven't doubled up on one of them so that you can do a stereo bus DS. You know what I mean? It does surprise me.
And I got one too. I got 5 extra spaces.
Yeah.
And those are affordable.
Yeah, they're less than $500.
So you're probably right to do say like a background vocal bus or something.
Yeah, something because like if I had the option, I would have used hardware de-essing on that mix, but I didn't have it, so that's why the slate got thrown in.
Yeah. Which is based on the 520.
Which is based on the 510. Yeah,
and that's why I bought it, because I was like, oh, that Sleep plugin sounds really good.
Yeah,
I wonder
and
what the hardware.
I needed stereo de-essing, so I just threw it on there. Like, okay, but if you had two SPLs over there, I would have patched them in.
Yeah, I may get one SPL and one DBX to have 2 pairs.
Yeah,
just to have 2 of each.
Yeah, because that's
hardware. It's always great to have 2 of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing we're finding out too. It's always good to have a stereo option available to you on all your hardware. Yeah, it really is.
So those are really good. But yeah, Jason, I will do one on the 510. I do like it. I do use it, but it's not all the time.
Yeah. You guys tried comparing the SSL?
NG Bus, the SSLG.
We haven't compared the NG Bus to it because the NG Bus does.
I thought I did a video about that many years ago.
I think you did it. I know you did a live demonstration of the NG Bus on HRME years ago, which is the one where I said, which is the one where I was in the comments going, "Does anybody want to buy a kidney?" Because because
what it costs.
It's going to cost, But
So no, I don't think we've done one yet.
Yeah,
but
the NG Bus is one of my desert island gear pieces. It's like that's like. I cannot afford it. I cannot justify having it. But if I had $3,000 to spend, I'd have one.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is so good.
So they're both VCA. The NG Bus is based on the SSL. It's
but
based on that compressor.
But it does so much more.
But it has more with the transformer circuits in there, and also the total harmonic distortion, which are both completely independent, separate, and are totally variable.
And digital control.
And digitally controlled. So if
it's an amazing box.
If you were going to buy one of the other and said, which one would you buy?
If I was going to have one.
If you had the budget, I'd say buy the NG Bus.
Yeah.
But the SSL G series is half the price.
Well, actually, right now you can get a 500 series G Bus for $1,100.
Then it's 60% less or 70% less.
Yeah.
So if you have the money and you say I could spend $3,000, I would get the NG Bus over the SSL all day long.
Yes.
But if you don't have that kind of budget, then I would say the SSL is for $1,200. There is no better stereo bus compressor in my mind for $1,200.
Yeah.
Now that's normally used to be that was a
it was $2,500 unit when it came out.
It's been on a $1,200 price kick for probably a year
at least.
So I don't know what's going on there.
I don't think the price is ever going back up. I don't think it is.
I wonder what's going on there.
I don't know what's going on. All I know too is that when you hold that compressor in your hand, it weighs 3 ounces.
Yeah,
it doesn't weigh a thing.
It doesn't have transformers or anything.
It's all
circuit board
it's
stuff.
all IC circuits.
Right.
So so there's not a lot going on in there. I mean, but listen, it sounds amazing. I have one.
Yeah, it does.
I bought
great.
one.
I got one in the console. Sounds great.
As far as bus compressor is concerned, for a straight up bus compressor, it's that and everything else.
Right. Well, you're right. So if you think about stereo bus compressors, over history, the SSL is, if not the most popular, in the top 2, and probably one of the most widely used in the last 40 years in the record business. So that compressor is legendary, regardless of how it's built. It sounds fantastic.
Yes.
But the West Audio took that and put a bunch of modern features and some more flexibility in it. That's the difference.
Yeah.
They're both great. You can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah, but the NG bus, well, I still get a kick out of the fact that the NG bus compressor in this studio is the drum bus compressor.
Yeah.
I still get a kick out of that. You know,
so it's a drum bus compressor with the API 5500 EQ. That's an expensive drum bus
That's
chain.
a very, very expensive drum bus chain. But
So it's,
by God.
you know,
but then again, too, when you consider how important the drum mix is
most
to
of the
every mix.
Well, most of the stuff I do is rock, pop rock. It's acoustic drums. Big drums is something that I kind of like. I like big drums, and so
it's the most. The drums are the most important part of the mix after the vocals, because because the drums take up the whole spectrum.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they have to be right. You know,
right. So if you want the sound of rock drums, you can't beat the
SSL bus.
You into that
API 5500. Yep,
it's great.
Yeah.
Chris says apparently the capacitance of cables
issues.
Attenuate the top end over a much longer length.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Well, with guitar cables, the line level can go quite a bit further without issues.
Yes.
No, you're right in what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's also the advantage of an XLR balanced cable to an unbalanced cable is the fact that you're sending two signals and it's taking the better of the two.
Right.
You know. But yeah, you are right. The capacitance issues has a lot to do with cable length. But in this case, the capacitance issue was more with the fact that he had two different brands of cable, two different gauges of cable,
three different brands,
three different brands of cable, plus, like I said, and a connection of two cables together.
One of them is connected together.
You know, and so like you said, you're throwing in and different lengths. So you're throwing in so many variables.
Right.
To that you know, and like you said, it wasn't like the left speaker was 10 dB louder than the right speaker.
At first, I didn't even notice it. I was sitting.
It was just a slight balance issue.
And it's when I first put up the new speakers, and I thought, is there something wrong with the speakers?
Yeah.
Because what was odd is that when I did the studio rebuilds, not only did everything physically move, but the new trios came in. I never put the twins back up in the new configuration.
I think I would have started with this with the twins just so that I had everything balanced out right before I put the trios in.
I just thought, put them up. I want to break them in, and I wasn't even thinking. And so the first thing I thought is, you first got to get used to a new pair of speakers.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, I'm listening. I'm going, is it just me? And I'm moving my head around. I'm going, does it seem like it's not dead center?
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And it wasn't off much. It was all, when I panned it on the board, I'm telling you, the detent, it's at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a click over to the right, but it was just enough.
Yeah.
And then the meters on the board, you can see they weren't the same anymore.
Yeah. And I will tell you.
But it sounded the same.
Yeah, I will tell you too, those trios.
They're awesome, right?
Those trios will not let you get away with anything.
No, the detail on those things are
Those things are sick. You know,
They're
I mean,
great.
I thought the twins were good. Like, I mean, I have solo sixes.
Those are good.
Which are amazing.
They're good.
Like, especially like in my little tiny studio, they're more speaker than I need.
Yeah.
But like when you went from the solos to the twins in here,
It was a big difference.
it was a big difference. And now when you went from the twins to these, it's a mind-boggling difference of sitting here. You know what I mean?
It's
really
is.
The
top end.
Yeah.
It's just,
there's a top at the more open top end, but that mid range is it's right there.
And it's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, and that's just without the sub working right now.
Right. That's what not even using the sub right now.
So like I mean, and I'm mixed. Like I said, they're not going to let you get away with anything.
No.
You know. So
which is why they're why people love them, and they're very popular, and they're hard. They're hard to get in stock. Like stores can't keep them.
Yeah, and I can understand why. I mean, for the price they are too. I mean, it's like
$7,000 for a pair.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Genelec or ATC or PMC or whatever, whoever the heck else it is, or
they're not
or
that top
Jimmy's favorite, whatever they are,
Ocean Ways.
You know, they're not that, but for like a project studio, working studio, home studio, high end home studio, they're all the speaker you're ever going to need.
Yeah, that's what,
ever going to need.
That's what people that use the higher end speakers were saying.
Yeah,
when you compare them to the higher end speakers, are saying for the money.
Yeah,
it's like whoa. It's like it seems like it's way more speaker than what the price tag.
Yeah, comparatively to what's underneath them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, you know what I wish I had done before they died is just once I wish I had brought my freaking heads over here and hooked them up over here.
Oh, just to see how
they compared. But since they died and I said screw them, we're done. You know. So
Chris says I personally go for bus processing, then go for tracks if needed. Keep it simple. Yeah,
top down. top down.
That's what we do too.
Yep, top down.
The bus processing is always engaged here.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's just a matter of how hard we hit it.
Yep.
So we mix into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the thing too, is like with mine too now. You have when you have a mix chain like that on your master, you have to mix into it. You can't add it later because it has such a huge effect on what you're doing. That like you could spend hours getting a mix done, and then plug your chain in, and everything changes. So you have to mix into.
I always mix into. Always
you
did.
know you have.
There's
to.
a baseline, and then you can go there and do a little tweaky here.
If
or there.
you have to tweak it, but like I said, I mean, like too, like I have a baseline setting on mine.
You just kind of run into it.
I mix into it, and like almost never. The only knob I ever touch is the threshold on the compressor. Pretty much the only thing I ever touch. Everything else is right where it's where it is.
Right.
It's where it's going to stay.
Yep.
You know.
I hustle. That scares me from West Audio. I have a Hyperion.
Yeah.
But if they go out of business, their hardware is hard to use without the plugin. No,
Yeah, but if you have the plugin,
no, but no, it's not. You can use.
I get what he's saying.
No, but I want to make sure he understands. That I want to make sure everyone understands. We're talking about West Audio. If you don't need to use the plugin.
Yep.
You could reach right over to the hardware and use it like a regular piece of hardware. You don't need to use the plugin. If the plugin goes down, if the company goes out of business, it works like it's an analog piece of gear that works like any other analog piece of gear. The knobs turn, but you can control it if you want. From the plugin.
Yeah.
So just I maybe you do understand that, but the way I'm reading this, I want to make sure that people
it will
understand.
work just fine without the plugin.
You don't need to use the plugin.
Yep, it will work.
It's convenient.
It's so nice,
but you don't need to.
Yeah, it is. So I used as much I used as much West Audio as I could today because you're sliding over to the rack. You know what I mean? So Kaiser's here. Hello, Kaiser. What do you guys think about the Neve 8424? I don't know.
That's a console, right?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I have no opinion on it. It's a Neve. My opinion will be this. It's a Neve.
Yeah, I believe it's their new 24-channel console.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
Someone asked me about the new Genesis Black that came out. I don't know much.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in the console market anymore. So
at the end of the day, it's a Neve. Come on. It's a Neve. I mean, a Neve is going to Neve.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's their new mixing console.
Yeah, a Neve is going to Neve.
I don't know if it's new. It's this.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty.
That's not new. That's a few years old. That console.
I like it.
Don't know much about it.
It's small. You know what I mean?
It's a 24-channel. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's like it has its own stand, I think.
Yeah.
Or it could be tabletop.
Yeah, it's kind of it's
How much
interesting.
Is it? What are they selling it for at Sweetwater?
25.
25 grand.
Half the price of this.
But if I remember right, and again, you can look.
Yeah.
That only has.
It doesn't have any.
It only has two 1073 pre's in it.
Yeah.
I don't think it has 24 inputs, preamps, and all that stuff.
No, it doesn't.
So I mean, it's a small Neve, affordable. 25,000 is affordable for a Neve.
Yeah.
Probably a better tracking console, maybe, than a mix. I don't know.
No, it's analog summing. Here it is. The perfect analog summing platform.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Cool.
It is what it is. 48 mono inputs, independent level and pan. It's a summing mixer is what it is. It's for the most part it's a summing mixer. 4 mono groups with 2 band shelving EQ inserts, direct outs, yada yada yada. Yeah,
so there's not 24 EQs in that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, it is.
So that's online with price wise with
this
the SSL X.
Yeah,
what
this would be really good for would be small band tracking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
24 tracks.
Yeah, but mainly tactile mixing out of a DAW.
Well, you don't have 24 preamps in that.
Not that I can see.
So you probably have 24. You probably have a hit.
Two 1073
right,
preamps.
And then the rest of them have to be with outboard pre's.
Yes.
In order to do it.
So you would, if you had a setup like Jimmy's where he's got like 14 or 16 or 18 or however many channels of preamp he has.
That's a good desk for that.
That would be a good desk for that because you run out of all your preamps into the desk.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you've got to.
So it's a Neve. It's going to have that Neve sound. It's going to have transformers in it. I don't think it does DAW control.
Not that I can see. Not for that price.
There's no way that does.
Like I said,
motorized faders.
What this would be really good for would be DAW out, 24 channel DAW out.
Right.
Mix back in.
Like what we do here.
Yeah, except without the EQs. You know what I mean?
You'd have outboard.
Yeah, you would have to have outboard everything else. But yeah, that's basically
or plug it in or EQ it in the box.
Yeah, if you've got a giant stack of preamps, you're good. Or if you're an in the box mixer looking for that, you know, with that Neve sound, blah blah blah. That's kind of where you're at, but it's not.
So it's a good platform that you can expand on and build from.
Yeah,
if you want to get into the Neve world.
It's to me it would be more like a command center than a console. You know what I mean?
Harrison is nice. Yes, Harrison looks nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been up close and personal with it, but everything I've seen so far, I'm like, ooh. The UAD updates fix a lot of the issues I had with Ableton Live. Oh, cool.
Yeah, you've been struggling a lot with that, Kaiser. We know.
Ableton Live, and they're awesome, especially the Studer Tape 800. Yeah,
he's been struggling a lot with that kind of stuff lately. So you know,
I'm glad they fix a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Fab Filter Bundle, handful of Waves plugins like CLA,
Puig, RX,
a few others.
Not a plugin junkie here. Okay, good, man. You know what?
Because he has hardware.
I got respect for you.
Because he's got hardware.
Yeah, but I got respect for you. You know, I really do. Because I mean, like I said, I'm psycho. So you know, DIY or G bus for a I know. Yeah, I get it. I really do. I wasn't thrilled with the price for a do-it-yourself box. NG Bus Comp going for $2,400 right now. Don't look at me like that.
That's a good price. Is that brand new? If that's brand new and you're looking for an NG Bus, that's a good price, man.
David's got 3 empty spaces in his rack at home too. Why did you tell me that? Why did you do that to me?
Why? And if anybody wants if anybody wants the Trinnov ST2 Pro, let me know. I'm going to be selling that at a fire sale.
Yeah.
If anyone wants the king of room corrections. Anyway, that's a good price for that compressor.
NG Bus.
Audioscape G Bus is on sale for $699 now.
Good. I'm glad I got 500 for mine.
That's Audioscape.
Yeah. That's Audioscape? Okay.
But that's
now I'm really depressed. Thanks. Yeah.
Unless you're really hard and heavy to get an SSL for $699, all I can tell you is Audioscape. Just wait. They got them in stock. Sweetwater's selling them.
Notify me when back in stock. Yeah, you can lock the price.
You can lock the price and get it at Sweetwater. How come you guys don't have my Sweetwater link? I probably don't even have it up on my
would you put your link up there? Listen, I'm not moderating this one. I can't do it for you.
The problem is I don't. It's not on this computer. This.
Yeah.
Oh, you know where it is? If I go to my video, it's in my videos.
It's in the description.
It's in this not in the live stream and stuff, but I'll put it in there right now.
What are you doing?
Well, because
Come on now.
I wasn't thinking about it. But if you guys are going to go buy stuff at Sweetwater, please help out Uncle Dave. And,
please. Because I got to go home and see where my credit card's at right now because now I'm angry.
That's a good price.
I know.
Let me get my Sweetwater link for all you guys.
Shit, that's 20% off. Fuck. Shit.
Command C.
Jimmy Farmer's laughing his ass off at me right now.
Command V. There's Uncle Dave's Sweetwater link. If you guys want to use that anytime, 365 days a year, if you shop at Sweetwater, use that link. You don't pay anything more for the product and you do support what I do here. Someone was asking the last live stream, what can we do to support you? I say you could do 2 things. You can do a super chat at our live streams. That's really greatly appreciated.
That's always appreciated.
Or you can use the Sweetwater link when you do buy your stuff at Sweetwater. That helps me out too, and it doesn't cost you anything more. So please feel free, and if you want to do a super chat, that always is helpful as well.
Yeah, Jimmy, you don't have to tell me. No, you're laughing your ass off at me right now. I know that, you know. Shit.
So let's see.
I believe the price isn't changing for the G-Comp.
I missed some stuff here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me get some more comments up here.
I believe the price isn't changing for the G-Comp because of the SSL Bus Plus. I wouldn't be surprised.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, you know. But I mean, for a DIY piece that you have to spend, time putting together and stuff, $850 is a lot of money to me. That's my opinion. Okay, I mean, there's other people who are going to completely disagree with me.
Yeah,
on
when
that.
you could buy the one for $1,100.
Yeah, or you could buy an Audioscape for $699, $850 for something you have to put together. That it's a lot of money. Okay, I get it, but you know, I get the attraction because I did enjoy building the stuff that I built.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to do that on every.
But I don't want to do that on every piece of gear, and then plus there's an economic factor to that works in for me. And like I said,
time is money.
Yeah, $850 and having to spend however many hours it is to put it together compared to $700 for an Audioscape. It's in the box and in your house and done. I don't know. I have a problem.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
You know,
I'm not built.
I have a problem.
I'm not soldering anything.
Yeah, I have a problem.
That ain't happening.
Oh, I know you ain't doing it.
Bus Plus is a great piece. Yeah, I've heard it is.
Everybody says it is. Everybody says it. Basically, the bus compressor with an EQ. You know,
and when you buy the 8424, that must be the Neve, and you buy their preamp,
you can remotely control it.
Right. No,
yeah,
Neve,
but it's great.
No, Neve has that.
Yes.
The 8-channel digitally controlled preamps.
Yes, they do.
They're one of the one of the other companies that are starting
24 channel board. You need 3 of those.
Yeah,
so you're paying $25,000 for that, plus how many thousands more for 3 of those?
How much is that How much is that preamp? That what's it? 8 channels? I think it's an 8-channel box. It's got to be.
Yep.
$4,000.
Yeah. Yep.
$5,000 if it's Neve.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We're here.
Yep.
Let's look. What is it?
Neve, what do they call that
Neve,
thing?
The Neve pre's.
Yeah. Neve 8-channel preamp.
Let's see what it is. $4,000. It's called. It's a 1073 PX 8-channel microphone preamp with remote control.
So $4,000.
So you need 4 times 3. You need 12,000.
So now you're up to
24,
30. Now you're up to 25 plus 12. Yeah, now you're $37,000.
You're at an Origin 16.
Now you're at an Origin 16. Yeah, for another 20,000, you get this. So
which has 3 times the amount of faders.
Yeah. So I mean, listen.
So like I tell people,
it's an economic thing, guys.
I think, Zona, you're the one with the API, right? Aren't you the guy? You're the cat with the API that we were chatting back and forth about features and stuff, right? You have the automation.
Yeah.
And again, this is where a lot of people try to piecemeal all this stuff together. I'm going, look, if you want to piece it all together like an erector set, you can do all of that. But
sure.
But if you buy good quality name brand stuff, you're not saving any money.
No,
you're still up. You are still in that 50
to
no 90,000.
No matter what, you're spending a lot of money.
You're there no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
There's again, not that the Neve console and this thing wouldn't be an awesome rig.
Oh, it'd be a great rig. Be an amazing. Probably sound like freaking amazing.
But you're not. But you're not saving anything.
Yeah.
Really.
See that's Jimmy says this is where I'm coming from with it. You know what I mean?
24K for
24K for 2 pre's plus 24 channels of faders and so on and so forth. You know?
I hear what he's saying. You're right at the desk.
But only 2 pre's.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's what it is. So I mean, like $24,000 for 2 pre's. This is $50,000 for 32 pre's.
Yeah, and again, you can say, oh well, you can't compare that to a 1073. Well, you probably can't.
You can't, but it's still a pre.
No, I understood, right? But right, but you're right. But 30, if you a 1073's, $1,200 a pre.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of the best in history. I would love to have a desk with 32 1073 pre's. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I've got 2 in my studio.
And you can have that.
Yeah.
If you want to spend.
Sure can. You got to have the money to spend.
You got to have the dough.
You got to have the money to spend.
So there's not a whole lot of ways you could piece it together. I mean, I guess the good news is now maybe in today's world when we talk about console, like, back in the day, you had 1 or 2 choices, 3 choices, and you had to buy large format.
Yep.
Today, they make a lot of smaller and medium-sized formats in the $20,000 range that you can now go out and say, okay, you know what? I want that Neve 8424. I got a couple of 1073s, and you know what? I want to build out a few 500 racks. I want to get some API pre's. I want to get some SSL pre's. I want to get some more different Neve pre's.
Yeah.
I want to build out and I want to customize my whole analog experience.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that back in 1985.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not absolutely. Yeah.
You bought an SSL or a Neve or an API, and that's what you
had.
got.
Yeah, it's what you had. What is more funny now? It just dawned on me now.
I kind of understand.
Yeah, it just dawned on me now. What I think the most amusing part of this whole conversation is It's 2024 almost.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still talking about analog consoles.
Well, not everybody.
Yeah, but we are
we
still
are definitely in the minority.
We are but there's enough of a market out there for them for there to be this many choices.
Of course.
At all different price levels.
Right.
When we were told in no uncertain terms that the analog day age was dead and everything was going to be digital from here on out.
Well, some people still believe that. Some
Yeah.
people still believe that this is all dinosaur technology and that you got to be out of your mind. It's so much easier to be in the box.
But it's like I say,
we've been through that conversation
it's
10
like,
times.
Yeah, it's like I said, the most amazing thing is that we're at this point and we're still talking, and they're still building these things and selling these things and everything else. It's like, it comes down to budget concern because we've said, listen, a laptop, $150 interface, and a decent pair of headphones, and you're a studio.
Yeah, for all intent and purposes,
you know, and you're a studio.
If you can record well and you have good songs, you can make great stuff.
Yeah, couple of decent, not expensive microphones.
Of course.
And you're a studio.
Absolutely.
All the way up to this, and then all the way up to Sunset Sound and Blackbird and everybody else.
Yep. Today we have way more options.
Yep.
You could go all in the box. You could go all out of the box. You could go somewhere in the middle called hybrid.
Yep.
And there's gear now at everybody's price point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of what you're comfortable with, what you're willing to spend, and what you want your ultimate experience to be. Because for me, I still think the biggest draw to the analog world for me, yes, is the sounds, but it's more of an experience. To me, it's more exciting, more tactile.
Yeah.
It's like sitting down with your old records and listening to your records on a nice turntable and holding the record and reading the line, looking at the pictures, as opposed to just playing a MP3 file on your computer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's not the same experience.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to in the end is experience.
So it's about
although we have taken the stand. We have that analog sounds better.
It's subjective, but it
is subjective.
We prefer it better.
We prefer it. We prefer it to the point where like I'm analog. I'm hybrid in mine. Jimmy's hybrid in his. You're what this is. You know what I mean? Zona's an analog guy, but the next guy down the road perfectly fine with digital and plugins. So. Yeah, you leave me alone, Jimmy. Yeah, okay. Leave me alone.
So the routing.
I haven't done it yet.
The routing on the 8424 is superb. If you
you have to do your homework. Well, it's the same as anything else. The routing on this thing is superb too, but you have to know how to use it.
Yeah, I don't know much about the 8424 outside of that it's a Neve.
Yep.
And that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's time for some chocolate Sweetwater. Yeah.
Get out that Sweetwater card, everybody.
Yeah.
Get out that Sweetwater card. Yep. They need to bring back the fireballs.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. The candy's not as good now that they were bought out.
Yeah.
The candy selection's not as good. I'm not as impressed with the candy selection, I will say.
I believe you all made a video on Tegular products. Would you recommend their creme or
magnetismus
2 unit, which I think is a digital? I think it's a reverb.
Yeah.
I used some Tegular audio many years ago. I had the creme. It was pretty good. Today the creme, the new version of it, if I remember right, is another digitally controlled one. Where it's like a West Audio kind of a unit. I've never used it, and I don't know about this other unit you're talking about. I haven't used their stuff in a long time. They're a German company. They're known for making real high quality pieces.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I don't know enough about them
to recommend them. Yeah.
So I think you can buy direct from them.
Yes.
And they have a return policy there. So if you buy something you don't like, you can always send it back.
Yep.
But I'm not really sure.
Neve 1073 OPX, no idea what that's about.
That was about what we're in the Neve 24.
You get more DIY than the Autoscape bus count transformer circuit mix knob. Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay.
You have to like the soldering.
You have to like to do the soldering. I mean, I do understand that, but still, it's just, it's a lot of money, guys. I mean, I get it, but it's still a lot of money for something you have to put together yourself.
And like Jason seems like he digs building this stuff.
But I do too. But I'm saying for me, it's more. I
don't.
Yeah, I know. Believe me.
I don't. I don't. But I respect guys that do.
When I did my DIY videos, listen, I enjoyed every minute of putting those things together.
Yeah,
I really did. I had a great time doing it. But it's like I had like it in my head, I'm going to buy all the modules. I haven't bought anything else since I did them.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a single piece from them. Like, okay, I've got what I want out of it, and I'm good.
You're done with it now.
You know, so I'm good. You know?
George says, "Hi, George. The Neve 8424 also comes with a version with motorized phasers and dog control for 30 grand. Okay, well, there you go. So
Good.
for another 6,000.
Yeah, good.
Now you can get it with dog control and motorized faders.
Yeah.
Is that all 24 faders? And I don't believe, because Neve's kind of weird with their desks that do dog control. And again, I could be wrong about this particular desk. I don't believe that's all full 24 fader dog control instant recallable. I think it's 16 channels.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but even then still, I mean, it does what it does.
Yeah. So again, but now you're up
it does what it
you're
does.
up another 6,000.
Yeah, now you're at 30 grand and you know, so on. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's still, you know, relatively lower price than some of the other stuff out there. And like I said, and at the end of the day, it's a Neve. So, you know.
And at the end of the day, it's an Neve. And there's something to be said. There's something
exactly
to be said
right.
about
yeah.
that.
I mean, you know, cachet to the name, boy, you know.
I hear audience consoles are great and super clean. Not super full color, but that's kind of a good because you can always add the color.
Yes.
At least while you're starting with a clean signal. Yeah, I don't have an audience, but Chris does. So he could tell you. I don't know if they're super clean or if they're not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that was always the thing, like with Harrison consoles too, is that Harrison consoles were very clean, not incredibly colored. You know what I mean, and so forth. And you know, the audience, I think, are based more on that model.
Maybe they are.
You know, and you know, but the audience is a great console too.
They're the only other console aside from maybe Trident that's feature for feature in this price bracket.
In the same range of everything.
Price bracket,
and they're good
at least at the time.
Yeah, and they are good consoles. You know?
I'm sure.
So you know,
yeah, like I said, I'm sure they're great.
Yep,
I'm sure they're great. Let's see here. Keep scrolling down. Yeah, the
Creme RC. Yeah,
this is the remote control.
Yeah, Creme remote control.
That's their new one.
Yep.
Well, not new. It's a couple years old, but that's the new version of. I didn't have that one. I had the older version of it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I think we're down. How many people?
Did we hit to the bottom?
I think so.
Wow, holy crap! We never do that.
30 people.
30 people. Wow. Okay.
Roughly, which is cool.
Interesting.
Nice. So if you guys we've been on here how long now?
I have no idea.
Hour and a half. Hour and 40 minutes.
Has it already been an hour and 40?
Yep.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay, so we'll stay on for 20 more minutes.
Time compression.
We'll say 20 more, right? We'll make it 2 hours, and then we'll end it. So if you guys have anything else you want to say or talk about, okay, Jimmy. See you later,
it's good to see you, bro. We'll talk again sometime, bro.
You got any Tegler gear? I do not have any Tegler gear.
No.
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 Nope. I had many years ago.
Many years. Yeah, you had? I remember that you did a video on an HRME a long time ago. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I mean, like somebody like Vitze from White Sea Studios, he uses a lot of that.
Does he?
Yeah, but he's over in Holland too. He's in a different market, you know.
Right.
So for him, like he's big into Elysia and Tegler and stuff like that. That's that's that market, bigger market on that side of the ocean, you know.
Yeah, I didn't. When I was using Tegular, I really wasn't into hardware as much, so I got rid of it because if it was many years later that we started getting into all of this stuff. So if I would have had it still, I might have kept it because I remember it was a good product.
You went through a lot of hardware over the years too, because at one point in time you had a summing mixer set up for a while.
I had a Tegular summing mixer.
Yeah,
which is okay.
Yeah, you had a summing mixer set up for a while, and then didn't you start with the Fusion over there?
No,
I thought you started with the Fusion.
No, I bought it when we bought the console.
Okay, I don't know why I thought that.
Are you
going? Okay, we'll get to it. Hold on.
Okay, the bus compressor on the Audient is based on the SSL2?
Yes, it's a version.
Is it? I don't know about the routing options. I think SSL is king of mixing because it has all the options. Well, the reason why people say that is because an SSL is really designed for mixing.
Yes.
It was really, it's a recording desk too, but they were the first company to really put an inline console all in one package where you could do recording and mixing, but it's really more known for the mixing and the flexibility of mixing. Not that other desks aren't. It's just that's their thing. That's what they're famous for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because of that, back in the days in the 80s and such, and in the 90s, when they were the king of the mixing console, that's why the sound of those decades of records sound the way they do, because in part because of the SSL, not fully because you could record on a Neve or other desks, but the sound SSL.
The saying was record on a Neve, mix on an SSL.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an empty saying. It's what, it's what people did. Ordered 2-for-1 deal. Haven't received it yet. Just, okay.
2-for-1 deal of what?
I don't remember what he was talking about. It's been a while now.
Maybe he's got some.
Yeah. All right. Here's the question.
Oh.
There's the question.
No.
No.
No, those are just a secondary set of speakers to switch between the folk house and something else. It's not Atmos.
And if you're Atmos, you have to have matched speakers. So
and they wouldn't be sitting right next to each other like those two would be.
Yeah, no, and no. Thank you.
No.
What do you think of the Warm Audio G-Bus compressor?
You just sold one.
I just sold mine. It's a good compressor. Okay. The thing with this, it's to me, it's a money thing. You know what I mean? It's like, if you cannot afford a genuine SSL bus compressor, you're going to have to go look for something less expensive. The Warm Audio bus compressor is a perfectly valid option to use. Sure. It sounded good. We did a side-by-side comparison of that on this channel. Go find the video. We did a side-by-side comparison of Warm Audio to the console compressor. And we both said in that video too, the Warm Audio G-Bus, it sounded fine. The SSL sounded better. No discussion. It sounded better.
Right.
But if all you have is a Warm Audio G-Bus compressor, mix into it and have at it. It does the job. You know what I mean? And like I said, so if and you can get Warm Audio bus compressors off of Reverb right now for $500. I know that's what I just sold mine for.
He just sold one.
So they're out there. They're perfectly viable options for a bus compressor. Go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Depends on your budget, but
the fact that you can get an Audioscape for $700.
I haven't heard that one.
But if you can. If you can get an Audioscape for $700,
I guess that's what they were saying in here.
Over and above a Warm Audio for that same price range, I'd go Audioscape all day, every day.
I wouldn't buy Warm Audio over Audioscape.
That's where we're at with that. Should be reviewing okay, dude done been shopping.
Nice.
Dude done been shopping.
Good for you, man. Congratulations.
Go for it, man. Enjoy it all.
Where can you find a pair of PreSonus 4848s? Right here if you want to buy them, but then I got nothing to use.
Dave and I do take 100% responsibility in the fact that the PreSonus 4848 market was destroyed. That was our fault.
Well, you could have you could have bought them everywhere.
They were available everywhere until we put our video up, and then you couldn't find them anymore.
Even though
we admit culpable responsibility for the dead market for them.
And even though a lot of people who watch those videos will still say, "Oh, I like this, that, or the other thing."
Oh, yeah, this is better. That's better.
Enough people
better.
went out and bought those Quantums. You can't even get one. If one of mine dies, I'm really in trouble.
You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed.
Absolutely screwed.
And it's our fault. We did that.
Right.
Because literally, it was literally.
So you can't find them.
It was literally before the video, after the video.
Right.
And
you can't find them. And here's the other thing too, which really kind of sucks. And again, I don't know if PreSonus is going to do another version of that. I don't know.
It's a market that they're really not into anymore.
But there is not another manufacturer that makes a 32-channel I/O A to D, D to A
for less than $3,000.
More than that, more like $6,000. If you want 32 in, 32 out in one box.
Yep.
There isn't another manufacturer that makes a box like that.
Yep. Yeah.
That sucks.
Sucks
so
bad.
if that dies, the next best thing for 32 I/O is the Lynx Aurora.
What about the Ferrofish?
Only over Dante, I found out.
That kills that idea.
According to Sweetwater. And the Lynxes are $6,200 for 32 I/O. So you're talking about $13,000 versus $4,000 in the Quantums.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So the answer to your question is, I don't know if you can find them.
You're never going to find one.
You'll
be lucky.
I have a saved search on Reverb that if one pops up, I'm buying it as a backup.
Hell yeah.
But I haven't seen it.
If one of them things popped up, it's going to be gone in literally a heartbeat, literally a heartbeat.
So, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Super Kennedy, we apologize. That's our fault. You're not going to find one.
If you want that kind of I/O, you got to spend a lot more money.
Yeah, you're not gonna find one.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Audio and consoles are clean with lots of headroom. Cool. The routing on them is where it shines.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't let the clean fool
Fool
you.
you
Clean doesn't mean bad. No, we didn't say clean meant bad.
Oh, no, no.
No. Clean is, clean is what it is. It's,
Yeah, and you can always use
Yeah.
other pieces of gear
if you need
to add
color,
that other stuff.
if you need color, there's plenty of color available. We get, believe me,
That's great.
EQ is what I would describe as soft but very usable. Yep, gotcha. You know what I mean?
PreSonus should bring back the 4848. Yep, I would agree.
It depends on whether or not they want to be in that market anymore. Scroll back up a little bit. We missed a few there.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, Audioscape sounds like a good option, $6.99. I agree.
You did. I did miss one.
Yep, there's a couple there. Audioscape sounds like a good option, $6.99. I believe it, especially compared to a warm audio. I agree.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't.
I agree. Audio and bus comp sounds similar. That's about not the same. No, well, yeah, it is what it is. It's still a.
Sure, I'm sure it's still good though, Chris. I'm
Yeah.
sure that audio and bus compressor is fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
I'm sure it sounds great. And if you really didn't like it, you just bypass it and go buy an SSL, put it in your 500 rack and patch it in.
Yeah,
And you got an SSL.
that's what I did.
Okay, this is the one that he
We
just
did
said.
that one. Yep. Have you tried using the 2 focus mode? Have you tried that focus mode on that?
No, not yet.
You'll get to it.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yep.
But it's one thing I haven't tried on that yet.
The Origin is very late on it. 80/24 to challenge.
Challenge number of audience. Let's see.
In
The Origin is very
colleges.
liked the audience. What is it? The Origin is very liked the audience.
80/24
to
challenge
the number of audience in college. I own an Origin and would love SSL to do an equivalent to the Audient DLC control for automation. So so the Audient feature for feature to the Origin in the Audient are very similar in feature. They're almost identical consoles.
Yes.
In the amount of EQs, the amount of faders, and all of that stuff. But the Audient has an option, and I don't know how much it is, but there's an add-on. Again, some of these companies you can buy add-ons. You can't with an Origin. Where the DLC, which is their dual layer control, which is part of their DAW control kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know much about it. I don't know how much it costs. Maybe Chris does here because he has an Audient. But SSL doesn't. At least right now, they don't do anything like that. I agree. I wish SSL would. I wish they would have, because you got to go from Origin to AWS to get any. And I don't even know if AWS does DAW control. I want to say it does.
I think it does.
I don't remember.
It has recall.
But that doesn't mean it does DAW control. The duality does.
Yeah, the duality is an everything console.
Yeah, so I wish they made like a $50,000 entry point, and then if you wanted to spend $10,000 or $5,000, and you wanted to module, make it more modular.
Yeah.
I wish you could add for a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
But you just can't.
They decided
just can't.
They decided that for their marketing, this console is what it is, and thus ever shall it be.
Maybe something in the future will come out and they'll do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish they would
know.
too.
You never know with them.
It would be great to have a full analog desk that was completely DAW controlled. That would be great. Oh, and again, they make them.
Yeah.
But they're not cheap.
Yeah. Pharaohfish makes one. ADAT, Maddie, Dante. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But you got. But the way I understood it
was to get the full 32 IO.
But let me look here. I looked at that one. They make 2 units. They make one. Unless I misunderstood the Sweetwater sales engineer's response in the email, because I asked him about it. He told me that the non-Dante one, I couldn't use the way we're using the Quantums.
Oh, okay.
And I thought he had. I know why. It doesn't hook up to the computer. Doesn't see it as an audio interface.
Okay, that would be a problem.
So there's some other kind of box, something you need between it, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And he says, what do you? He goes, oh, you're using the Quantums, and I said, what would be the equivalent with 32 IO? And he said to me, unfortunately, there's nobody that makes what that. He goes, that was a very unique box, that 4848.
Apparently.
He goes, the only thing that comes close to it is the Lynx Aurora, which my Sweetwater sales engineer has an API console in his home studio. He knows about all this analog stuff. He has the links himself. He goes, that's the only box
that does the thing.
And that's 6,200.
Yeah.
For 32.
Well, the issue
we need 2 of them.
Yeah, the issue you have with it too is monitors as well, because it's going to have to tie into another for monitor unless it has a monitor circuit in it.
But that's what the 2626 is for.
But it's going to have to tie into that for monitoring.
Right. So that's why that Feral Fish box, he said, won't do what we think it's going to do.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, because
And I said, oh, really?
Yeah.
And then I said, well, what happens if my quantums die? What am I looking at here? He goes,
a lot of money.
This is all you got.
A lot of money.
And he said, and he has the links, and he says, I can tell you the conversion. All it's high. So I know they make high end stuff. I wouldn't be concerned about the links wouldn't be a good product. I'm sure it's an amazing product.
Yeah.
But it's literally 4 times what the cost of the quantum is.
Yeah. And you need 2 of them.
If I want 64 IO, I need 2 of them.
Yeah. So you end up spending almost $15,000 to replace $3,000 worth of,
Yeah. So let's hope it doesn't die anytime soon.
Yeah, okay.
Antelope
too, sure. Jason Buffin says for 4K, you could use 2 Mo 224 for 2 times 24 for 40 IO. 40 IO ain't going to get it done.
But they don't make, he's right. But,
but it ain't going to get it done.
Sweetwater, you can't get that box. It's been on back order forever. They don't know if they're ever going to get them back in stock.
Yeah.
So
and you would still need.
Maybe you could buy them used.
Yeah, you would still need 3 or 4 of them to get everything you need into the board.
And those are all 1/4 inch connectors. So now you're into all kinds of.
Now we're back into cabling again.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
So
see, that's the other limiting factor. This is that we've got a blank amount of money invested in DB25 cabling. If you have to replace all of that to go to a different box.
So now you got to somehow convert the DB25 to 1/4 inch pigtails,
which
again,
we tried that. We don't go there.
But
we don't go there.
So the cabling would be a factor.
Yep.
What I would probably end up doing, knock on wood, hopefully these don't crap out. But if they did, again, for me, this is a business. It would just be a business expense, and I'd say, you know what, get me 2 Lynx Auroras, and we're taking the tax right off.
Yeah, I mean, like we what are we going to do? We go back and forth on this all day. You know what I mean?
And sometimes at the end of the day, you just go, you know what? The good news is, you got those things for his steel. And you used them for 3 years.
Yeah.
If they crap out,
then such is life. But right now, there's been no sign of them being an issue.
So I hope not. But if they do, I guess I'll be. I guess I'll have to figure it out. You know, we'll see. Yeah. Antelope 32 plus first gen. Okay. Yep.
Antelope makes the Galaxy 64 for around 7,000. Still more. Yeah, gotcha. See, we also.
One thing I heard though, Chris, about the Antelope is everybody that has actually used one, they always tell me nightmares about that piece of software that's got to sit.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know much about it. I would love to get a box where I don't need to have a piece of software that sits between the two. Mm-hmm. They say it's a nightmare. Again, maybe they've improved it, but this is coming from people that actually own the Orion stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Antelope stuff that have told me that. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Not a lot of options, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a lot of options. So, 24 is DB25 connect together with Ethernet in stock right now. Okay.
What is that?
That's the Mo 2 that he was talking about.
DB25.
That's the Mo 2 he was talking about. The Mo 2, whatever it was, 24 AI or whatever.
Okay. Sweetwater told me they were out of stock and they weren't getting them anytime soon.
Yeah, well, it's not like you're in the market for it right now.
But I just like to learn about these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're $1,000 each.
Yeah, but then again, it's 24, so you would need
3
or 4. You would need 3 for sure.
How do you?
With the Antelope, sometimes you have to struggle with the driver. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the issues were. I just had owners that tell me they're just like, oh, I love the box. The Orion is awesome, but the software sucks.
Yeah.
And I've heard that so many times. It's unbelievable. Now, maybe they've improved it. I don't know anything about their company.
Yep.
Oh, Chris is using one.
Yeah. If you're using a console, you
don't even have to bother with the software.
Okay.
See, again, that's what I mean. This is why we have a community. Yeah. Because if I ever have to go buy one of these things, we're going to get on and talk to all of our community.
We're going to be doing a live stream with them sitting here going, okay, how do we do this?
what should I be buying?
Yep.
So you're using an Orion 32
Gen 3.
How much is that one? You said it's about what? How much did you say that one was?
Yeah.
About $4,000?
Yeah. I mean, no matter what,
So you're into two of them?
Yeah.
7,000?
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah, I mean, it's to go
a lot of money.
To step away from what you have to something else is a major investment in time and money.
So if you use a console, you don't even need to use the software. Oh, great!
Well, there you go. You know,
that'd be freaking great.
Yeah,
I would like you just come right out of the back of the box like what we do with these and plug it right into the console. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, with as little in between your signal as possible. You know.
Yeah, because when we used to use the Universal Audios and we had to use the console software.
Yeah.
And how many times do we get flaky things with that?
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
dude, that whole UAD thing was always freaky. You know what I mean?
When it worked, it was perfect.
When it worked, it was great. But when it didn't work, it was annoying as hell.
It was like, geez, you know.
Like how many times did we have to go back in and add new aggregate devices and then put the whole matrix back in and dude, it was a nightmare.
It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Just saying, you just have to set up the routing one time at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what? If it's an option for the future, if we ever need it,
it's an option for the future.
Yep.
It's an
option. Again, too, like if that moment comes, and you have to look at what's out there and what you need it to do, and then it becomes a real car buying decision. You know, I mean.
Yeah, well, I still have in my Reverb saved searches.
Yeah.
If someone puts up a Quantum for sale,
jumping on it,
I'm buying one and sticking it in the back room just in case. The chances of two of them dying at the same time are pretty slim.
Yeah, pretty slim, But yeah, I mean, we did think we had an issue with the one, but it turned out to be something else. I mean, other than that, these things have been rock solid up to now.
I haven't had any issues with
rock
them.
solid.
And they sound fine. We've compared them to several different converters, and we're like, sounds good enough to us. And
we've done enough converter comparisons now that we're not. People, and that's the other side too, is people can keep throwing more converters out at us, and like we're not going there.
OQG says he has a 32 and 32 plus first gen. Cool.
Yeah, there you
have
go.
Any problems with it? No problems with the software? Or do you use it with a console? How do you use it?
Mm-hmm.
I think Sweetwater sells Antelope, don't they?
I believe they do. But yeah, like I say, I mean, like
Apogee makes something too, but again, you're over $10,000 a box.
Yeah. Using a Mac with your Ryan, never had any driver issues. I think most of it comes from PC. Yeah, well,
it could. Yeah, again, I never investigated it long enough. I just people that we would talk to because I wasn't in the market when I asked about Antelope. Those are the things I heard. They're like, oh, it's a freaking nightmare. It's this, it's that. It's like, oh boy.
Everybody has a story to tell. So,
I don't know if it was Generation 3, Generation 2. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. So it could have been an older generation.
And we also don't know what the scenario is that they're using it under.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would be more comfortable now because if there's a couple of people that we know that use them with a Mac and you go, no problem.
And say that it's a seamless issue, then okay.
Then I would at least look at it at that point.
Something to keep in mind if the need arises.
What would you suggest? 2 distressors or a Fatso? Dual mono on a Fatso?
No dual mono on a Fatso.
Well, isn't the Fatso more of a it does a tape sim thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's listen, a distressor is a timeless thing, dude.
I know the Fatso does, well, it's a compressor, but it also does like a tape emulation kind of a thing. Yeah. I think it's just a different flavor of a distressor. Mm-hmm. And I don't know all the features of the Fatso.
Maybe it's a stereo maybe it's a stereo distressor. I'm not sure. I'm not that well versed in it. All I know is this: distressor's a timeless freaking thing.
Yeah. Got 2 of them. I use them quite a bit.
Yeah. Distressor's timeless.
Sweetwater doesn't sell Antelope. Oh, okay. Vintage King. That's okay. I like Vintage King too.
Yeah, Vintage King is cool.
I bought my Trinnov at Vintage King. Mm-hmm. No problems at all.
Yep.
But now Sweetwater sells Trinnov.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do.
That's interesting.
They just started carrying them, which is great.
I thought Trinnov was direct.
No, you can't buy direct from Trinnov.
Oh, okay.
You have to buy from a dealer.
Okay.
Tolman in Europe, Vintage King, and now they just came into Sweetwater, which is cool.
Cool.
The Motos also have an audio AVB
and
ADAT. The AVB is awesome to connect 2 Motus. Okay. I have 828 ES and a 24 AI, 32 analogs combined. Best investment for my hobby studio. Awesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, hobby studio, I mean.
Well, Charlie uses Motu.
Yeah, and his are old. His Motus are old.
Yeah. Like 20 years old.
Yeah, didn't he say something about changing over? Or was he was talking about changing something over this year?
And he wasn't sure what he was going to go to because it was the same thing. It was a cabling.
Yeah.
He was getting worried about all the cabling that he would have to change out.
Yeah.
And I think his stuff was still working well. So he's like, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Fatso's a bus compressor.
Okay, well, then it's not a distressor. Yeah.
No, it's different from a distressor. I know they're the same company. They both make the box. Mm-hmm. They're different boxes for a reason. But I'm not too up on the Fatso, so I've never used it. So I can't tell you what would be different about that than a distressor. I don't know because I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I had sole issues with my driver bus since 1 year is rock stable on a PC. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, PC. I'm a PC guy. I don't have any issues with PCs. I build my own. You know, what I mean, like I'm always a PC guy. So you know,
we got.
We have a detractor there. Yeah, don't trust
Ever
Antelope.
since they left people hanging with informal company,
former company,
Aardvark. They couldn't fix any issues. They started a new company. Not cool. Oh, okay. I don't.
Yeah, I had no idea about the history, but you know,
I don't know the history of them at all.
Yeah,
but that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Motu is great bang for the buck. Yes, no question about it. You know, they make good stuff at a good price. You know, I mean, I don't know where they fall, like in the PreSonus Focusrite audience chain of where they're all in that same.
Yeah, I think you could probably shuffle them any which way, and they're probably all about the same, roughly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome to the stream, and welcome.
Thanks for mentioning me on the stream. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me who you are that we mentioned you.
We read his question.
Oh, did we read his question?
Yeah, it was back there somewhere.
We read them all.
We try to get to all of them.
Yeah, we try to get everybody. We try to make everybody feel inclusive here, you know?
So we got about 5 more minutes and then we're going to head out. So
I got a long drive home.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me see here. Chris says the distressors you can link.
Yeah.
You get the EL8X, so probably more versatile, but a Fatso has tape emulation. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I mean, they're doing 2 separate jobs. You know what I mean? If it's a bus comp with tape emulation, it's not doing the same job a distressor is doing anyway. So like the comparison of should I get a distressor or a Fatso, well, what do you need it for? Because they do different jobs.
Yeah, and I've never used a Fatso, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Antelope has revamped their entire company last year or so. Customer service has been great, so he couldn't be happier. Oh, cool. Good. I'm glad you're happy with it.
It's all about experience.
Right.
You know, I mean, one guy doesn't like the company because they did this, and another guy doesn't have an issue with it. It's all about experience.
Yeah,
you know?
if you have a good experience and you like their gear.
Yeah. Oh, you answered. Okay, so yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Yeah.
We're reading every comment.
Yeah, we get everybody. We get everybody involved, Johan.
Everyone's involved.
You know.
So that's really it. So everybody have a wonderful new year.
Yeah. Goodbye and good riddance to 2023.
2024 is just around the corner. Stay tuned to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that happy stuff.
We got a lot of interesting stuff coming.
A lot of videos coming in 24. So yeah, I think you guys will be happy with the content. We'll do more live streams. We'll do more mixing. We'll do more this. We'll do more that. So we'll do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, funny, does anybody know what Motu means?
No.
Motu originally started as a company called Mark of the Unicorn.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were Mark of the Unicorn. I learned about them from Steve Vai way back in the early days of home recording and stuff, because he used Mark of the Unicorn's digital performer software in his studio. That every Guitar World interview you ever read with Steve Vai, he always mentioned it. Mark of the Unicorn.
Motu. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So yep. Antelope has great plugins. Yeah.
I skipped one there.
Dave's been reviewing some of the Antelope.
I wasn't that impressed.
Not impressed.
There's a couple of them that are okay.
Yeah.
Some of them don't react right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I did try all their plugins on demo on Home Recording Made Easy. I did some videos. There's some more videos that have already been done.
Yep.
There wasn't one that I remember that stood out that I went, that one sounds better than whatever I was comparing it to.
Yeah. Yeah. You were doing a lot of UA comparisons, and they were, listen, they're fine.
They're okay.
You know, it's the same as anything else. It's, you know, it's a plugin. It does the job. You know.
I think he's saying you buy their.
Yeah, you get hardware. You get all the plugins.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
You know, so great, cool. You know, Fatso's compressor, saturator, tape emulator, transformers. Yeah, it does a job.
There it is.
Yeah, it does a job. You know, mixed bus processor does a job.
Already ascribed for about 6 months. Cool.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
Honest
Appreciate it.
All the stuff. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, we're not big enough to be dishonest.
No,
you know.
Glad to be part of the community. Glad to have you.
Thank you for being here, bro. So all right, guys, we're pulling the plug now.
We're going to wrap it up here. So again, thank you so much.
Appreciate you all very much.
And
this is fun.
Yeah, we'll see you sometime in 2024.
Sometime.
See you later, everybody.
Peace.